You took so much of my money and made me do so much for you guys. How dare you lie to me? Gu Luo, you animal. Yi Ling's face was pale with anger. At this moment, she realized how immature she was. She originally wanted to save the lives of her two brothers in secret, but didn't expect things to progress like this. You took so much of my money and made me do so much for you guys. How dare you lie to me? Gu Luo, you animal. Yi Ling's face was pale with anger. At this moment, she realized how immature she was. She originally wanted to save the lives of her two brothers in secret, but didn't expect things to progress like this. Moreover, she pretended her relationship with her two brothers were very bad, even to the degree of not talking to them. She was scared that her big uncle and fourth uncle would discover that she sided towards her two brothers, disabling her from entering the Yi family house anymore. If she couldn't, then the three brothers and sisters would completely become irrelevant people and disappear in the Yi family. She never even dared to bring up about Yi Mo in front of her grandpa, or even help him say anything, because she understood that although her grandpa liked her, it was because he liked her father. But grandpa hated the most when women talked about familial matters. That time, her second mom was forced to go do business in a faraway place by her grandpa, because she was involved in her second uncle's matters. She even had to change her surname to the surname of her grandma. Ever since that, no woman in the Yi family dared to talk about family matters. Even if they did, they didn't dare to let grandpa know. In fact, she didn't know that under the permission of her grandpa, her brother Yi Zifeng could participate in the family meetings. Gu Luo was introduced to her by Yi Lu. Yi Lu was a part of the Yi family, and Yi Ling thought he wouldn't harm her. But she didn't expect that Yi Lu not only harmed her, but also dared to harm the Yi family. She didn't know why Yi Lu would do this. Was he not scared of the family law? Thinking about the family law, Yi Ling shivered. She was clear that the thing she did was no lighter than what Yi Lu did, perhaps even worse. Just her stealing the feng shui Dragon Ball would cause her to descend to hell if her grandpa knew. Yi Lu must be the same as her. He had things that Song Xiaochen could blackmail him with. However, she was willing. She didn't know if Yi Lu was the same. Yeah, you collected so much things about the Yi family and told me you even stole 2 of the feng shui Dragon Balls and gave it to me. The Song family really should thank you. However, that old man really trusts you. Even Yi Lu couldn't enter the main house, but you can go in, Song Xiaochen sarcastically said. Looking at Yi Ling's pale face, Song Xiaochen slowly said, if you can bring me the Jade Buddha between the feng shui Dragon Ball and stay with me one night, then I'll pretend nothing happened and won't harm a finger of Yi Zifeng. If you disagree, then we have so many brothers here. I don't think you can take it all by yourself. He. Of course, even if you serve us, you stealing the feng shui Dragon Ball would still accidentally reach Yi Beirong's ear. Yi Ling was shaking with anger. She only knew how stupid she was now. The more worried she was, the more clueless she was. She paid a big price for Gu Luo to secretly protect Yi Mo and Yi Zifeng, and even searched news of Song family trying to deal with Yi Mo. Now, it seemed all like a big joke. It would be fortunate if they didn't harm them, much less protect them. After experiencing these things, Yi Ling understood a lot, but she knew she understood too late. Let me go, and I'll steal the Jade Buddha. Yi Ling recovered her composure. Although her body was still shaking, at least she calmed down on the surface. Ha ha! Song Xiaochen hysterically laughed. Do you think I have the same IQ as you? Of course I'll let you go, but we need to do our business first and get the recordings done. I believe you can leave then. But don't worry, we won't touch the Yi Mo. We'll only touch the Yi Zifeng. If you cooperate, perhaps we won't even touch Yi Zifeng. Humph! Rip off her clothes. Song Xiaochen feared the most when other people said Yi Mo could kill him. Many people knew Song Xiaoan died by Yi Mo's hand, and so did Song Xiaodan. Plus, the family meeting today, and the order of the leader, said no one should find trouble with Yi Mo. Although Song Xiaochen didn't know what happened, He knew that if Yi Emo really killed him, he would die in vain. His life in the Song family wasn't even worth 1% of Song Xiaodan, much less Song Shaowen. The leader could let Yi Emo go after he killed them, much less him, Song Xiaochen. Who dares to rip her clothes? A cold voice suddenly echoed in the room. The people in the room didn't even see how the door was unlocked. The first to react wasn't Song Xiaochen and his men, but Yi Ling saw the young man standing at the door and was shocked. Although Yi Emo changed a lot, she still recognized it was him after a while. Yi Emo, Yi Ling blandly said in shock. Yi Emo nodded. Yi Ling, it was hard on you. You're right. If I can kill Song Shaowen, I call also kill Song Xiaochen. Oh, you probably don't know that I also killed Song Xiaodan. You really are Yi Emo? In Yi Ling's impression, Yi Emo was a useless, rich second generation and was extremely pretentious. The reason she could treat Yi Emo the same as Yi Zifeng was because her father's words before he died. She still remembered them till now. Ling Er, Yi Emo is not welcomed, and he doesn't like studying himself. You and Zifeng need to look out for him. Don't let him be bullied. I'm guilty to him and his mother. Don't let me die in unrest. Yi Ling remembered. She cried as she agreed to her father's words. Then her father slowly closed his eyes. But because of this Yi Emo, she suffered a lot. After his father died, he extravagantly spent money. It was all the money she saved up in hardship for him. The reason he could still stay in Ninghai University was because of the countless people she begged. Even when he was kicked out of the Yi family, Yi Ling's big uncle was still going to attack him. As such, she intentionally got close with her big uncle's side while intentionally distancing Yi Emo and Yi Zifeng. Yi Emo wasn't close with her to begin with, but she intentionally distanced herself with Yi Zifeng. That was so that when her big uncle attacked them, he could have some hesitation, or perhaps could let her get some news. Not only this, she also sucked up to Yi Lu and knew the underground gangster Gu Luo through him. Gu Luo said he had connections in Ninghai as well, so she paid money to Gu Luo to protect Yi Emo because she was scared her big uncle and fourth uncle would still attack Yi Emo. Although she didn't know anything, but she heard that there was an instance when her grandpa got drunk and said on the table that her father was to be the next leader of the family and was prepared to give ownership of the assets to father. Then her father's health grew worse, and his grandpa no longer mentioned it again. Yi Ling even suspected that her father's death was related to her big uncle, but she didn't dare to say and could only do her best to protect her two brothers. She tried to not take money from the family, and more than once reminded her brother not to take money from the family to avoid the killing intent of her big uncle. And when she saw Yi Emo today, she had the urge to cry. She felt wronged. Yi Zifeng and Yi Emo were both her elder brothers, but she, being the youngest of them all, had to do these things. And Yi Emo even lived a life that no one knew what he was doing behind everyone's back. I am Yi Emo, seeing Yi Ling's eyes red. Yi Emo just told Yi Ling he was Yi Emo and didn't talk. He just stared coldly at Song Xiaochen. You are Yi Emo. Song Xiaochen said this word by word. Gu Luo had already stood beside Song Xiaochen. If someone else suddenly entered the room, they would have already gone up and beat them up. However, they've also heard about Yi Emo. It was said that even Hu Qiu died in his hands. Also, Gu Luo wasn't bad, but he was a far cry from Hu Qiu. The two men beside Gu Luo wanted to abduct Yi Ling. Yi Ling was still looking at Yi Emo, as if in disbelief of Yi Emo's change. This Yi Emo in front of her was too different from the Yi Emo in her memories. The Yi Emo in her memories would only make her feel annoyed and disgust. She didn't want to see him at all. But the Yi Emo in front of her emitted great confidence. Just standing there made people feel as if he was the only person in the room that could decide on things. Moreover, as soon as Yi Emo came, Song Xiaochen immediately became silent. His face was even showing expressions of worry. Yi Ling suddenly felt a strong sense of safety. It was as though only Yi Mo like this was her real big brother. She subconsciously wanted to walk towards Yi Mo when two frosty winds shot past her face. Yi Ling subconsciously looked back, and the two men behind her had fallen down. She thought her courage was pretty bold before, but now that she saw two men fall down in front of her with blood seeping out of their foreheads, she wanted to scream and dash into Yi Mo's arms without thinking. Yi Mo patted the shaking Yi Ling and sighed. Life was really hard on her. She was really scared but still gritted her teeth and dealt with people like Gu Luo. In fact, no matter what deals she made, she couldn't escape her eventual death. Even if Gu Luo wasn't Song Xiaoqian's man, he would still kill Yi Ling eventually to keep her mouth shut and prevent revenge by the Yi family. Other than Gu Luo's side, Yi Ling would still die if the Yi family knew what Yi Ling did. Yi Mo, I know you're really powerful. If you just let me go, I'm willing to give back the Dragon Balls and other things. Song Xiaoqian seemed to be reminding himself that Yi Mo didn't dare to kill him now, and he needed to stay calm. But when the words got to his mouth, he was already shaking. Chapter 141. Black-Hearted Song Xiaoqian. Chapter 141. Black-Hearted Song Xiaoqian. Yi Ling felt a fit of comfort for no reason after hearing Song Xiaoqian's words. Although she was of the Yi family and looked like a princess, only she knew the hardship within. She needed to put on a happy face when she went home and needed to ridicule Yi Zifeng. That wasn't all. She even needed to secretly use the money she saved and stole to ask Gu Luo for help. Today, it was her first time seeing her opponent act low in front of her. She even forgot the disgust when Yi Mo killed. You want me to let you go? Yi Mo looked at Song Xiaoqian and blandly said, Yes, as long as you are willing to have mercy. I will pay you back 10 times. Hearing Yi Mo's tone soften, Song Xiaoqian said hurriedly, He's called Gu Luo? This name is really strange, and I detest this guy. Yi Mo looked once at Gu Luo. Hearing Yi Mo's words, Song Xiaoqian's eyes suddenly turned cold and pulled out a small 3-edged prick from somewhere and just stabbed it onto Gu Luo's back without hesitation. When the prick was fully submerged, Gu Luo then turned around and looked at Song Xiaoqian in disbelief. He pointed with his finger, wanting to say something, but eventually he couldn't. He just looked with fury as he fell to the ground. Perhaps he couldn't understand why he would die in Song Xiaoqian's hands after serving him for so long. Yi Mo thought that this Song Xiaoqian was a cruel character. He actually knew where to pierce so that one would die the quickest. It definitely wasn't his first time doing this. Yi Ling looked at Gu Luo fall to the ground with massive amount of blood emerging from his back like a spring, and she finally couldn't take it as she fainted in Yi Mo's arms. Young Master Chen, Gu Luo's two henchmen, looked at Song Xiaoqian and couldn't believe that he would kill his most trusted man. They didn't know if they should attack Song Xiaoqian or still be on the same team with him. Just when the two were still hesitating, Song Xiaoqian already charged over and killed another. The remaining one reacted, and when Song Xiaoqian stabbed towards him, he actually pulled out a knife and stabbed it into Song Xiaoqian's left shoulder. Although Song Xiaoqian was injured, it wasn't lethal. Plus, the damage of the knife was far from that of the prick. The man holding the knife was killed, but Song Xiaoqian could still stand up and looked worriedly at Yi Mo. Yi Mo looked coldly at Song Xiaoqian. He killed without any moral burden, and he was killing his trusted men. His actions were swift without any hesitation. It could be seen that not only was he cruel, but also had some power. When he was talking to him before, he still seemed shaky, but Yi Mo would never believe him. Song Xiaoqian was obviously acting, but he acted too much. Regardless whether he was acting or not, Yi Mo wouldn't let this guy go. Brother Yi, I've already done, as you told, and killed these few people you don't like. Then Song Xiaoqian took out a bag from his pocket and said, This is the Yi family's feng shui Dragon Balls. I only told Yi Ling to get 2. Song Xiaoqian walked to a chair with pale face and put the bag on the chair. although his shoulder was bleeding heavily, but he didn't seem to notice it. Instead, he opened the bag and said, "I'll show it to you." Yi Mo just stared coldly at Song Xiaochen. He was very smart and cunning, but Yi Mo had already seen the evil in his eyes with his spirit sense. Even if he didn't, he knew that Song Xiaochen's actions were abnormal. His hand was already so heavily injured, but he didn't stop the bleeding and instead was going to open up the bag. If it really was the Dragon Balls inside, he could have just given it to him. Thinking about this, Yi Mo scanned the bag with his spirit sense. At this moment, however, Song Xiaochen pulled out a gun from the bag with unimaginable speed. At the same time, his gun was already pointed at Yi Mo. This was all done in less than 2 seconds. Song Xiaochen had a lot of faith in his gun prowess and his speed was very fast. The gun was pointed at Yi Mo's head. He didn't think Yi Mo could still live after getting shot in the head. Even if Yi Mo was a disciple of ancient martial arts, he wouldn't be able to dodge this. Thinking that he was about to kill Yi Mo, Song Xiaochen was excited. He could almost already see the leader of the Song families praise him, and that the first in the 3rd generation title would be his. But in the spur of a moment, Song Xiaochen didn't have this thought anymore. He just looked at Yi Mo, who stared at him with cold eyes, as though a monkey being stupid. At the tip between his fingers was a bullet. Yi Mo noticed Song Xiaochen's actions as soon as he took the gun out of the bag. The moment Song Xiaochen fired, Yi Mo used his spirit chi to form a force field, and the bullet was slowed down. That way, Yi Mo caught the bullet easily. Even if he fired when Yi Mo wasn't ready, although Yi Mo wouldn't be able to catch the bullet, he would still be able to dodge it. Song Xiaochen seemed like he saw a ghost and made a sound after a long while. You can catch a bullet, you." He was dumbfounded. This was the first time he met someone who could catch bullet. No one would believe it. Seeing Song Xiaochen's worried look, Yi Mo sneered. "Don't worry, I won't kill you now." Then the bullet in his hand dropped to the floor in a clank. Song Xiaochen's heart skipped. Although he was still on the edge, he gradually calmed down after hearing Yi Mo's words. Of course, Yi Mo wouldn't kill Song Xiaochen now. Although he could, and knew the Song family wouldn't do anything to him, he was just scared that if the Song family was infuriated and fought with him, then Dong Fengshi's prediction would quite possibly come true. If Yi Mo and the Song family fought, no matter how he beat up the Song family, he would only have one choice, and that was to leave the country. In Yi Mo's perspective, even if he was to fight the Song family, he couldn't do it overtly. He could make them feel scared, but he couldn't force them into a corner. He could kill Guluo and his henchmen, but he couldn't kill Song Xiaochen now. He still needed to do the after work for the business in the room. Yi Mo believed that Song Xiaochen didn't dare to make it known, and neither did the Song family. Plus, this was Beijing, not the borderlands. It was fine to kill at the borderlands, but not in Beijing. Now that so many died in the room, and despite most of them were killed by Song Xiaochen, someone needed to take care of the aftermath. It was better to leave Song Xiaochen to do that. Yi Mo wasn't an idiot. He had arrived at Beijing for more than a day, and still didn't receive any attacks or threats. That meant the Song family was holding themselves back. Perhaps what happened in Sai-Na had already reached the Song family. Yi Mo would definitely not believe that the Song family didn't know he arrived at Beijing, because when he came, he just waltzed right in. Yi Mo patted his hand and took out the 2 Dragon Balls and looked. He couldn't help but to shake his head. It was just 2 normal magic artifacts with a sliver of spirit chi. Song Xiaochen looked at Yi Mo and didn't dare to move. He now understood why the leader ordered not to touch Yi Mo. He was too scary. No wonder he could kill Hu Qiu. Yi Mo looked at Song Xiaochen and patted his shoulder. Song Xiaochen felt as though a big metal hammer whacked his heart a few times. That pressure made him faint. After burning away the bodies in the room, Song Xiaochen woke up again and found that all the bodies had disappeared. There was just some blood stains and burnt smell. He didn't know how long he was out for, but he knew it wasn't long. Yi Mo had dealt with the bodies in such a short time, and Song Xiaoqian suddenly felt his body was cold. This was why Yi Mo couldn't be touched. Do you know why I didn't kill you? Yi Mo looked at Song Xiaoqian, who had a spookily pale face, and said. Song Xiaoqian subconsciously shook his head. Yi Mo smiled. Take care of this place, and perhaps after a few days, you would understand why I didn't kill you. Oh, and tell your leader this, don't piss me off. Piss me off, and I'll make the Song family disappear in one night. Then, Yi Mo carried the still unconscious Yi Ling and actually jumped out of the window. Song Xiaoqian looked at Yi Mo disappear, and now realized his life was saved. He looked at Yi Mo jump to the window, and was shocked once again. This was fourth story, but he soon knew that it was time to clean up. Thinking about this, Song Xiaoqian didn't even have time to dress his wound, and just called the family straight away. Just when Yi Mo didn't know where to take Yi Ling woke up. She saw Yi Mo carrying her, and made a small struggle. Yi Mo put her down. Yi Ling stared at Yi Mo for a while before remembered what happened before. Her face was full of worry. Yi Mo murdered someone, and she saw it with her own eyes. What to do? Yi Ling didn't even get time to ask how Yi Mo came to Beijing, and just looked at him and said worriedly, Hurry up and run now. You killed the Song family's man, they won't let you go. Go now. Chapter 142, Brother and Sister. Chapter 142. Brother and Sister Yi Mo saw that Yi Ling wanted him to run, and felt touched. Although the things Yi Ling did was very naive, her intent was to save Yi Mo and Yi Zifeng. From that perspective, she did suffer many hardships. Yi Mo knew that Yi Ling didn't like him, but why did she still do so much for him? Yi Mo suddenly raised his hand, touched Yi Ling's hair, and sighed. Stupid, if I leave now, you would be dead. Don't worry, since I can kill Song Xiaowen and still have nothing happen, nothing will happen now. Plus, I didn't kill Song Xiaoqian. Yi Ling felt weird after being touched by Yi Mo. A faint sense of being cared for circulated her heart. She had never been cared for. Even her brother, Yi Zifeng, always complained that she was too immature. But now, she had this feeling. Her fatigued heart seemed to have something to depend on. She suddenly wanted to lay in Yi Mo's arms and call him Big Brother. But at the same time, she felt distant with the Yi Mo in front of her compared to the original Yi Mo. The two sunk into silence, but Yi Ling soon reacted. She thought about Yi Mo's safety and hurried. You didn't kill Song Xiaoqian? Then if he calls the cops on you, where will you go? Even if he doesn't call the cops, the Song family knows you're in Beijing. You still wouldn't be able to escape. What shall we do? Yi Mo smiled. Don't worry, the Song family doesn't dare to look for me now. Nothing will happen tomorrow. Yi Mo saw things clearly. Since he came to Beijing, and the Song family didn't look for him, then they wouldn't look for him now. Even if they were to, it would be after they've completely investigated the situation. If Song Jiaming knew he could come back safely from the Nanqing's HQ and still look for trouble with him without any reason, then the Song family wouldn't be still alive today. Yi Ling looked at Yi Mo in a daze. She didn't know why Yi Mo said the Song family didn't dare to look for him. She also knew that Yi Mo wasn't the same as before. Although Yi Mo didn't kill Song Xiaoqian, he still left a time bomb on him. Song Xiaoqian didn't have long to live. Yi Mo thought that after he left Beijing, the Song family wouldn't be able to do anything to him, but they could attack Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng. Thinking about this, Yi Mo felt like he had a headache. Now, he didn't dare to overtly eradicate the Song family. Since he couldn't, he needed to worry about this. Seeing that Yi Mo was in thought, Yi Ling said, Where would you stay tonight? Yi Ling wanted to call him brother, but couldn't. The original Yi Mo had too much of a bad impression in her mind. Yi Mo came back from his thought and decided he would think about it later. Now that Yi Ling asked, he said, I have a place to live. What about you? I'll send you back. I'm living at campus? Yi Ling wanted to ask how Yi Mo had been, but didn't know where to start. Plus, she saw the ordinary clothes on him and knew he wasn't living a wealthy life. Perhaps he was even living a desolate life. She was scared that if she asked, Mo would be sad. She didn't know where he got his powers from, but eventually she couldn't resist and asked. Mo didn't know where to start, so he simply described his life and didn't mention him going to the desert and being hunted. These things were too distant with Yi Ling's life. He didn't want Yi Ling to be worried. From Yi Ling, Mo heard that Yi Zifeng had been very busy recently, but Yi Ling didn't know why. Yi Zifeng barely discussed such things with Yi Ling. The two walked as they talked and came back to Hua Yuni. At the door, Mo remembered Shui Yangqing. He looked around, and Shui Yangqing was long gone. Go back to the dorms first, I'm going. Tomorrow. Fine, Zifeng, we need to talk. Mo sent Yi Ling to the door. He wanted to go scout at the Song family. If the Song family decided to shatter the glass and fight him, he needs to be prepared. Come inside and have a seat. Seeing Mo was going, Yi Ling couldn't resist to say. She still had a lot of things she wanted to talk about. Plus, Mo changed too much that made her feel dependent on him. At the moment, she actually didn't want him to leave. Mo hesitated and saw the males are forbidden sign. Although he also went to uni at Ninghai, he had never been to the female dorms. Now that the weather was getting warmer, it didn't seem appropriate to go into the female dorms. Yi Ling saw Mo's gaze and knew he was worrying he couldn't go in, so she hurried to say, "It's okay. The Hima at the door is very nice to me. She'll definitely let you in. Plus, all of the girls in my dorm aren't here tonight. They are going to a social with Sure Uni." Originally, Mo didn't worry about going in. He had too many ways to, but he was just worried it would affect others. Now that Yi Ling said this, he wanted to go in and see too. He just wanted to see if he could set up a simple defense formation there. And he wanted to talk to Yi Ling. If she didn't want to stay in Beijing, she could go to Luo Tsang. It was just as Yi Ling said. The Ani at the door just looked once at Mo and didn't stop him from going in. Yi Ling's dorm was closed, and it was pitch black. Yi Ling was right. The girls weren't back. Mo habitually scanned his spirit sense out and was immediately shocked. There were still 3 people inside the dorm. Just when Mo wanted to tell Yi Ling that, Yi Ling had opened the door and said, "Come in, there's no one inside." Before Yi Ling finished speaking, the light was opened, scaring Yi Ling. In the middle of the table was a big cake. The 3 girls saw Yi Ling come in and all yelled, "Happy birthday, Ling." However, the 3 soon saw Mo behind her and yelled in surprise. One of the girl, who just wore shorts, quickly took a pair of pants and put them on. "You guys." Yi Ling was shocked at the scene in front of her. One of the taller-looking girl reacted and said, "Ling Zi, didn't think you would be celebrating your birthday with your boyfriend. We still wanted to give you a surprise. Hurry up and introduce him. He's really handsome." Yi Ling just remembered that today was her birthday. She was so busy that she forgot. She couldn't help but feel grateful to her dorm mates for preparing this for her. She immediately said, "Xiao Dan Lulu, Tiana. Thank you guys so much. You remember my birthday. Eat the cake later. Lulu is right. Introduce your boyfriend. We can't wait." "This is the first time you brought your boyfriend back," that short-haired girl also said. "You guys are mistaken. This isn't my boyfriend." Yi Ling waved her hand. "Pfft, you brought him back. And you even said, 'No one's here, you can come in.' Did you think we didn't hear it? Do you think we're third-wheeling? Don't worry, after you introduce, we can give you guys some space. Hima just called to say you're back, but she never said you brought a boyfriend," the short-haired girl said. Mo touched his nose awkwardly. He didn't think Yi Ling's classmates were all back, and today was Yi Ling's birthday. It seemed he couldn't tell her about going to Luo Tsang today, and Yi Ling's friends were all wearing casual clothes. It wasn't convenient for him to stay here. Mo could only say, "How about I go first? We can talk tomorrow." Yi Ling also knew that Mo probably had some things to discuss with her, but now he couldn't say it. She could only nod her head. Ha, why are you leaving? You just came in? Today is Yi Ling's birthday. You're not even helping her celebrate it. At least leave after eating the cake or introduce yourself. And you still need to invite us to dinner tomorrow. That girl wearing shorts finally dropped the awkwardness and said. Dan was seen in her undies. Of course, she needed someone to compensate her with food now. Ha, that short-haired girl said immediately. Yi Mo felt more awkward. He didn't even remember Yi Ling's birthday as her brother, while Yi Ling's dorm mates remembered it. He thought about Su Jingwen's birthday. They both came from big families. Why was Yi Ling's birthday so different to Su Jingwen's? The Yi family was much bigger than the Su family. Thinking about this, Yi Mo felt bitter. Perhaps Yi Ling really had been enduring a lot of hardship these years. Seeing Yi Mo stand silently at the door, Yi Ling thought Yi Mo was thinking about her life and said, "Brother, I don't care that much about my birthday. As long as you and Zifeng is fine, everything is good. Go back first, I'll come look for you tomorrow." Yi Ling hugged Yi Mo after. It was the first time she called Yi Mo brother, but she didn't feel it to be weird at all. Perhaps she would no longer have to live that worrying life. At least, Yi Mo was so much better than she had thought. She felt Yi Mo's hug was very firm and warm, giving her a sense of security from the bottom of her heart. Chapter 143. Helpless Song Chiming. Chapter 143. Helpless Song Chiming. That brother made Yi Mo freeze mentally. Ever since coming to this world, it was destined that he would be lonely. But today, someone called him brother. This indescribable feeling flowed through Yi Mo's heart that made him decide to protect Yi Ling for her life. Not for anything else, but just for that brother. Ayo, so emotional. Lingzi, you really make people cringe. But your boyfriend is quite handsome. I also want to hug your brother. Don't be stingy, the short-haired girl said. Of course she was joking. She didn't really mean to go hug Yi Mo. Yi Ling really enjoyed Yi Mo's hug, and hearing what the short-haired girl said, she suddenly smiled and pulled the short-haired girl's hand and dragged her into Yi Mo's arms. She moved aside. Okay, Tian, you can hug for however long you want. I won't be jealous at all, but don't let go. Tian, he was pulled into Yi Mo's arms. Yi Mo wanted to push her away, but was scared he would hurt her feelings. Meanwhile, Tian, he thought it was just a hug, so she wrapped her arms around Yi Mo's waist. Yi Mo didn't feel anything when he was hugged by Yi Ling, but he didn't expect Tian to hug him with such force. He immediately felt two balls of softness in front of her chest, and that faint aroma of a girl. His blood speed up, and he had a biological reaction. His crotch immediately rammed against Tian's stomach. He was originally planning to eat a piece of cake, but he hurriedly said, "I'm going." Then he rushed out of the dorms and disappeared. "What's wrong, Tian? Why did you scare Ling's boyfriend away? Is it because your chest is too powerful?" When Yi Mo left, the two other girls came up and teased her. Tian's face was shot red. Although she was acting tough, it was just in her words. However, when the other two girls asked, she recovered and smiled. "Ling, your boyfriend's thing is so big. I could feel it. What a man. But I still quite like his hug. He smells very nice." "What? You really felt that? It's really big?" To their surprise, Yi Ling asked Tian with a face full of joy. Tian was grabbed by Yi Ling, but this was nothing. When Yi Ling asked that question, the dorm mates were completely shocked. "Hey, Lingzi, are you dumb? How can you not know your boyfriend's thing? Why are you asking me? But your boyfriend is really excellent. Sai, I don't know where you found him. Why don't I have that kind of luck?" Tian, he also had a boyfriend, but was never like Yi Mo, who could give her a refreshing and calm sense during hugs. "Okay, we really admire you too. Next time when Lingzi's boyfriend comes, I also want to hug him," the taller girl said. "And me," Dan hurried to say. Tian, he threw up the finger, / you two cougars, but Lingzi, even if it's really big, you don't need to be so happy. You'll be taking in quite a load. However, Yi Ling murmured, it was indeed a lie. She was thinking about Yi Mo's diagnosis. It was fake. If Tian, he didn't say it today, she would have thought it was real. Now, it seemed that the DNA test was also fake. Her big uncle did this. At this moment, she only felt happy because Yi Mo had completely changed. Although it was very late, the lights were still on at the Song family. Even Song Xiaochen was in the family meeting. Yi Mo's guess was right. The Song family didn't dare to fight Yi Mo at all costs. Song Qiming was very careful. Before he understood Yi Mo's trump card, he didn't dare to move. If Yi Mo really could enter a heavily guarded place like the Nanqing HQ, then it would be all too easy for him to kill everyone in the Song family, especially how Yi Mo did things without thinking the consequences. Thinking about their conflict with Yi Mo, Song Qiming's face was very bad. It was too embarrassing for such a powerful family to not be able to touch Yi Mo. If it was someone else or even a gang, the Song family could get rid of them easily. Xiaochen, did you just say in the blink of an eye? All the bodies in the room disappeared? He could even catch a bullet? Song Hai needed to be clear on this. He had been responsible for the intel of the family. This was the first time he heard of such a capability of Yi Mo, and that meant he didn't do his job well. Yes, Uncle Hai, I didn't say a single lie. He could really stop the bullet with 2 fingers. My pistol is the Howard PPK. You should know its speed, but he caught it with his finger. Plus, I'm sure I wasn't out for more than 5 minutes. When I woke up, nothing changed except the bodies have disappeared. Song Xiaochen still felt fear when saying this. Song Qiming looked with one eye towards Song Hai and wanted to ask about Sai Na, but remembered that he just sent out the order today. So things shouldn't be this fast. Song Hai's heart was skipping. Although the leader didn't say anything, he knew that he hadn't been able to find out a lot of Yi Mo's powers. He didn't do his job properly. He had made up his mind to increase the intensity of the research in Sai Na. He couldn't make a mistake again. Seeing Song Hai's expression, Song Qiming didn't pay more attention to him. He turned his head and asked Song Xiaochen, "What else did he say?" Song Xiaochen looked worriedly at Song Qiming's furious face and answered after some hesitation. "When he left, he told me to bring back a message. He said don't piss him off. If we do, he will make the Song family disappear in one night. And when he left, he carried Yi Ling and jumped from the 4th floor." "What?" Song Qiming obviously heard it, but he exclaimed in shock. If Yi Mo could jump off by himself, he wouldn't be so shocked. But carrying a person and jumping off the 4th floor, this was absurd. Just when everyone thought the leader would be angry by Yi Mo's threat, Song Qiming calmed down instead. He started to contemplate, and after a while he looked at Song Qi-kan and said, "Qi-kan, what do you think?" Song Qi-kan frowned and said, "According to Yi Mo's habits and what Xiaochen reported, if Yi Mo said that, it means he can really do it. My opinion is to wait for the result of the Sai Na investigation. After we know Yi Mo's limits, then we can make a move. Plus, if we are to move, we can't do it alone. We need to invite some people. Of course, we must also notify Hu Qiu's master." Song Qiming nodded. "This is what I think too. Okay, that's it for today. When the investigation comes out, we'll have another meeting. But before this, if anyone dares to look for trouble with Yi Mo or someone related to him, I won't let him go." Dismissed. Yi Mo left Tsinghua University and prepared to look for a place to stay when his phone rang. It was Li Hu. He was very happy when he knew that Yi Mo came to Beijing. He just said he was busy in the day, and his phone was shut. Yi Mo just set a location when his phone shut down. He hadn't charged this phone, and it just answered 2 phone calls before running out of battery. Now, Yi Mo still hadn't ate yet. Originally, Shui Yongqing wanted to invite him to dinner, but due to Qing Sun's things, Yongqing didn't have the time to redeem it, so Yi Mo went to look for Yi Ling Li. who came very quickly and drove a normal jeep. As soon as he got off, he grabbed Yi Mo's hands excitedly. "Brother Yi, if it wasn't for you last time, we would have probably died, much less retrieved the item. I've been waiting for days, and you're finally here. Let's go. You should sleep at my place tonight. You must come to my base with me tomorrow. Those brats keep saying I'm bragging. You need to help me teach them a lesson." Li, who was straightforward and very social, and he already saw Yi Mo as his friend. Yi Mo could tell that this guy had been bragging about him in front of others, but they couldn't find him, so his words were ignored. Yi Mo smiled. He didn't have the time to help Li Hu show off. He just wanted to get his money and solve the problems here, so he could go back to cultivate. The more people he got into conflict with, the more he felt his power was insignificant. From Lang Ji's mouth, Yi Mo heard that Xian, Daoist in Metal River, was much stronger than Wu Chang. Moreover, it was said that he was about to break through. If things were really as Lang Ji said, then his powers would only seem overwhelming to normal people, but for the real strong people out there, he was still missing a bit. Thinking about this, how could Yi Mo have the mood to show off in front of normal soldiers? Chapter 144. Big Bluff. Chapter 144. Big Bluff. Li Hu stayed at the intense training quarters at Beijing. That's not what Yi Mo expected. The defense here was serious, and there were surveillance equipment everywhere. If Li Hu didn't take him in, it would really make him sweat to come in. Plus, Yi Mo didn't know if his invisibility could evade the top-grade military cameras. And Li Hu was indeed a good friend. He didn't even investigate who Yi Mo was before bringing him in. He knew the rules, but he still did, so meaning that he considered Yi Mo a true friend. Li Hu got some food and ate as they chatted together. Yi Mo also knew this place was to train all sorts of special ops. This period, it was his turn. He was the captain of the Flying Fox Squad. Li Hu wasn't called Li Hu before, but after he joined Flying Fox, he changed his name. One could tell that he had deep feelings for this squad just from his name. Then Flying Fox is the country's top special ops? Yi Mo curiously asked. If that really was the case, then Yi Mo would be disappointed. Although he hadn't seen Li Hu in action, but he was at most the same level as Wendong, or even worse. Since he was the captain, it meant that he was the strongest in Flying Fox. If even the strongest was at this standard, then the squad wasn't going to be very strong. Li Hu didn't know Yi Mo's power. In his eyes, Yi Mo was mysterious other than being straightforward. He went in and out of the desert with ease, so he knew Yi Mo was much stronger than him. Now that Yi Mo asked, Li Hu shook his head. Our squad is a far cry from the best. However, the members of Flying Fox are pretty excellent. You have seen our missions. In harsher words, we're police. In other words, we deal with the more serious criminals. Then Li Hu took out a card and gave it to Yi Mo. This is the money. It's supposed to be $500,000, but because the thing was perfectly fine and no men were lost, my boss gave an extra $100,000. Altogether, it's $600,000. The password is all zero. Of course, I know that this is just as Feng Tian said, less than 10% of its actual worth. So Yi brother, I owe you. Yi Mo took the card and smiled. If I didn't sell that to you, perhaps I would have thrown it away. It's free money I earned. No need to say anything else. He didn't lie. When he was being hunted by the insects, he even threw his bag away. He definitely wouldn't have left this small model that he didn't know with him. Luckily, he gave it to Li Hu, or his $600,000 would have been gone. Li Hu didn't think Yi Mo would throw away something so important, and thought Yi Mo was just being polite. He admired Yi Mo more for his generosity. Brother Yi, there's also someone called Yi Mo in Beijing, and he's from the Yi family, but it's said he was kicked out of the Yi family. Ha! If that Yi Mo had 10% of your excellence, that Yi old man would have treated him like the future of the Yi family. Li Hu and Yi Mo chatted for a while. He felt Yi Mo was very open and soon thought of him as a friend, so he talked casually. Yi Mo smiled. I'm that Yi Mo you're talking about. But I'm not as powerful as you say. Treat me like the future of the Yi family? I don't care, much less they won't. Ha! Li Hu looked at Yi Mo in shock. He didn't think that the person in front of him was the abandoned son of that Yi family. Shui Yongqing was annoyed. One was because Yi Mo went against his word and didn't wait for her at the door of the school, and another was due to Qing Sun. The more she thought, the angrier she got. It was just 10 minutes' time, and the doctor she had longed for was gone. So this morning she came to the door of Tsinghua University and wanted to see if she could wait for Yi Mo. If she couldn't, then she would ask Yi Ling and see if Yi Mo came for her. What made her angrier was Yi Mo didn't arrive, but the person she didn't want to see the most was here. Qing Sun had some flowers and walked over, guiltily saying, Yongqing, it was my bad yesterday. I'm sorry. Please accept my apology. These flowers are for you. Yongqing looked contemptuously at Qing Sun. Who do you think you are to apologize to me? I'm telling you from today on, I don't know you. If I go against my words, let the heavens destroy me. Piss off. Shui Yongqing was so angry that her fire could burn a lake dry, but Qing Sun had to come and piss her off. If it wasn't for him, then perhaps she would have invited Yi Mo. Now, she lost news of Yi Mo, and her grandpa was in danger. Even she couldn't forgive herself, much less a mere Qing Sun. Moreover, she had already warned him not to look for her. But today, this guy came right in the morning. She thought about how something that could be done in 2 minutes was dragged on for more than 10 minutes by Qing Sun. In the end, all it came to was a discord, and she even missed Yi Mo. Although Yi Mo said he was Yi Ling's brother, who knew if he would stay in Beijing. Everyone knew Yi Ling looked down on Yi Mo. If he left Beijing again, she would not even have a place to cry to. Hearing Shui Yongqing's words, Qing Sun's face turned pale. He didn't expect Shui Yongqing to say such determined words. This essentially severed any intentions he could have for her. He really didn't want to give up the second most prettiest girl in Beijing. Yongqing, you actually said such words. Who was that guy yesterday? You're being so heartless with me over him, Qing Sun said with hatred. F***CKU. Who is he to me? What's that got to do with you? He's my boyfriend. So what? Are you going to kill me? Don't appear in front of my eyes again. Then Shui Yongqing turned to leave. She wanted to go to the dorms and ask Yi Ling. Although she didn't know Yi Ling well, they heard of each other. After all, in the uni, she was ranked second, and Yi Ling was ranked third in terms of beauty. Qing Sun's face was green and stared coldly at Shui Yongqing as evil flashed across his eyes. In the morning when Yi Mo and Li Hu came to the training base, there were nearly 100 people already training. Yi Mo looked at these Flying Fox members. They were indeed not bad, but still very immature to Yi Mo. However, it was quite decent they could achieve this in a training ground. Yi Mo, how about you have a few rounds with them? Li Hu saw Yi Mo's smile as he looked at these members, so he said, Captain Li, is this the mysterious hero you keep telling us about? A sturdy youth came up in front of Yi Mo and said challengingly. Li Hu looked at the youth and had an evil smile on his face. Yeah, Lu Gang, do you want to fight him? Of course I do. Lu Gang was up for the challenge. He hoped for an immediate match, so the whole squad would know his power. Lu Gang believed that he wouldn't lose even if he fought against Li, who, much less a youth who looked scholarly. He was going to defeat Yi Mo, and then say to Li Hu, Captain, your eyes are very good. Yi Mo smiled. Of course, he wasn't going to be so bored and fight these people. These people weren't even 1/10 as strong as Hu Qiu. He really had no interest in fighting them. Seeing Li Hu look over, Yi Mo said, I don't want to fight, they are no match for me. Even if they all come at once. It's boring for me as well. Yi Mo didn't need to be humble. He was indeed saying the truth. Lu Gang heard Yi Mo's words, and his face was bright red. He didn't think Yi Mo would be so rude and just say he was no match for him. Not only this, he also said that the 100 of them was also no match for him. This was way too arrogant. Great bluff. Before Lu Gang had time to say more, someone interrupted. Elder Han, how are you here? Lu Gang saw the person coming and quickly greeted with a face full of respect. Yi Mo also saw the people who came. There were 5 of them. The leader was an old man in his 60s. 2 police guards followed him. Other than that, there was a man in his 30s and a girl in her 20s. The man who said he was bluffing was the man in his 30s. He scanned across Yi Mo contemptuously. Yi Mo sneered. He could tell the man was not bad, but at most he was only a little stronger than Hu Qiu, but still no match for him. However, that girl seemed weak, but she gave Yi Mo a much greater threat than that man. This made Yi Mo give the girl a closer look. She looked very quiet and not too pretty, but durable to look at. However, Yi Mo soon knew that she was durable to look at due to the art she was cultivating. This woman wasn't simple. Perhaps she came from the hidden sections. Ever since these few people came out, almost everyone saluted to the old man. Only Yi Mo did nothing. The man looked more unhappy. You are Yi Mo, the one who helped Li, who find the model? Elder Han asked. Yi Mo answered, Yes, I'm Yi Mo. I sold the data to Li, who I didn't specially go help him find it. Chapter 145. Winnings of the Battle. Chapter 145. Winnings of the Battle. Elder Han laughed. Yi Mo, you don't need to be humble. The money you took wasn't even enough for 10% of its real worth, so I can represent the country to thank you. You've contributed greatly to the military. Yi Mo smiled and didn't reply. He didn't have that kind of resolve. If someone gave a higher price than Li Hu and he didn't mind that person, he wouldn't have hesitated to sell it to someone else. Seeing Yi Mo not reply, Li Hu quickly said, Elder Han was one of the commanders in the Beijing military district. He's a lieutenant. Yi Mo, Elder Han already heard Li Hu's words and waved his hand. I've heard from Li Hu of Yi Mo's power in the desert. I heard from people that you were buying a phone in the market yesterday, and I knew you would come looking for Li Hu. Today, I came just to see you. You should be Wen Tian's son, right? Sigh. Wen Tian was supposed to be doing great things, but he left too early. Things were really harsh on you and your siblings. Yi Mo heard this and had some good impression to this Elder Han. If somebody said this to him yesterday, he wouldn't feel anything, but after seeing how Yi Ling was, he knew how hard things were for her these years. Elder Han is too polite. I should be going to see you. How can you be visiting me? Yi Mo greeted. Elder Han nodded. I've heard about your things, but Barong and Yuani are my old companions. This time, Barong really looked wrong. You are like your father, Wen Tian, an elite. You're even better than Wen Tian. Sigh. This time, Ning Fuzhen looked wrong too. Then he shook his head. Elder Han's name was Han Zixin, one of the commanding officers at Beijing Military District. Although he had retired now, he was responsible for a few special ops squads. Flying Fox was one of them. It was also the most famous squad. Flying Snow was also under his command. Yi Mo knew who Barong and Yuani was. It should be the leader of the Yi family, Yi Barong, and the eldest of the Song family, Song Yuani. As for that Ning Fuzhen, he was probably from the Ning family. After sighing for a while, Elder Han said, Once again, Yi Mo, if you want to come to my special ops, I can let you go to Flying Snow. That's where the best in the country are gathered. I believe you can step higher at Flying Snow Squad. Plus, if you came to Flying Snow, I'm willing to help you with your issues with the Yi and Song family. Although Li, who didn't know Yi Mo, was from the Yi family, it didn't mean that Han Zixin didn't know. He wasn't too sure either until someone reported to him yesterday. He was reported that Yi Mo came to Beijing yesterday and bought a phone at the supermarket. He immediately came to see what Yemo wanted. He wanted to see why this proclaimed human scum, Yemo, was so excellent in Li Hu's mouth. And how could he have such enmity with the Song family? Plus, he gave such an important military data so easily. Now that he saw Yemo's composed and calm manner as well as his strong confidence and defined features, Han Zixin wanted to take him in for his talent. Although the main thing was due to Yi Mo bringing back the data and donated it to the country, he also wanted to compensate Yi Mo in another way. As for Yemo's power, Han Zixin thought it wasn't bad, but it was just the same level as Li Hu, although he was a talent, but not to the stage where Han Zixin must have him. But even so, he realized how terrifying gossip can be. Yi Mo was no human scum. The manner in which he faced him without fear told him that Yi Mo was no simple man. Even if it was a descendant of a big family, they would be worried and nervous seeing a lieutenant. Yi Mo only seemed to say hi after he talked about his father. Brother Yi said that the entire Flying Fox is no match for you. Du Tao wants to test that. The man who had been behind Elder Han this whole time said at this moment. Blasphemy, Du Tao. You're the instructor of the special ops. What are you fighting with Yi Mo for? Leave. Hearing Du Tao's words, Elder Han reproached immediately. Du Tao saw Elder Han say it so quickly, he backed down with a face of disappointment. Although he was the vice head of the police department in Beijing and one of the instructors for the special ops, he was still a member of Flying Snow. Yi Mo smiled and looked at Du Tao. You are also no match for me. There's no point in fighting you. He wouldn't be polite to this guy. And he didn't want to keep a low profile in Beijing. He would teach those who needed a lesson. Du Tao was regretful that he couldn't teach this arrogant Yi Mo a lesson, and now that he was mocked, he was more furious. He immediately bowed to Elder Han. Head, please allow me to spar with Yi Mo. I'll control myself and won't hurt him. Originally, Han Zixin didn't want Du Tao to fight Yi Mo. Du Tao was an intermediate stage yellow-level martial artist. No matter how strong Yi Mo was, he would only be on the same level as Li Hu and not even reach into the ranks of martial artists. How could he be a match for Du Tao? However, he was really surprised that Yi Mo said such words. In that case, he really wanted to see how strong Yi Mo was. He nodded and said, Okay, since you guys want to fight, then stop appropriately. Du Tao was his trusted man, and Yi Mo was a youth he liked and was Yi Beirong's grandson. If Yi Beirong knew he was very excellent, he would take Yi Mo back into the family. Plus, he contributed an inestimable military data, although it was still being evaluated. Han Zixin knew that model was worth more than $30 million, and many of its worth were still unknown. This was one of the reasons why he took another look at Yi Mo and came over personally. Unexpectedly, Yi Mo still said, I won't fight with you. My abilities are for killing. I'm not interested in playing with people. Although your leg martial arts are not bad, I've met someone who is 10 times better than you with legs, but he only managed 20 moves under my hand before I disabled his legs. Yi Mo talked without any concern. He could easily tell that Du Tao's martial arts was in his legs, but no matter how good they were, could they be better than Wu Chang's? In Yi Mo's eyes, if Du Tao were to fight Wu Chang, it wouldn't take 50 moves before Du Tao was a dead man. With Elder Han's permission, Du Tao was already rubbing his hands, pumped to teach Yi Mo a lesson, but now he heard Yi Mo say that he disabled a person's legs in such a nonchalant tone. His face looked bad. At this moment, the young girl next to Elder Han noticed Yi Mo. She originally thought Yi Mo was ordinary, but why was he so arrogant? And did Yi Mo really see that all of Du Tao's prowess was in his legs? How did he see it? Yi Mo could see her powers, but she couldn't see a bit of Yi Mo's at all. Oh, hearing Yi Mo's words, Elder Han was interested. He knew that Du Tao's leg arts was not bad. This Yi Mo could tell in one eye. Was there really not much difference between the two? thinking that Yi Mo might not be much weaker than Du Tao. Elder Han's eyes were excited. He needed human resources the most now. Yi Mo was cold, and he seemed very generous and decisive, not to mention he was still so young. If he was as strong as Du Tao, then taking him into the special forces would mean, thinking about this, Elder Han could no longer resist and immediately said, "Okay, then we'll bring out some winnings. I'll sponsor that. Whoever wins, I'll let him go into the Extreme Weapon Vault and choose a weapon." As soon as he heard Extreme Weapon Vault, Du Tao's eyes lit up. He once had a dagger from the vault, and that helped him through countless dangerous missions. However, he lost it in a mission in Tibet and felt regretful since then. If he could get a strong weapon from the vault, his power would up a level. Yi Mo was disinterested. What weapon could be stronger than the ones he made? He didn't care at all. If he had the material, he would have made a weapon for himself already. Seeing Yi Mo's lack of interest, Li Hu quickly said, "Brother Yi, don't underestimate the vault. It's all the top quality materials. Some are made of materials you've never heard of. A major part of it is from the hidden sections." Hearing that they were from the hidden sects, Yi Mo was a little interested, but not too excited. He said casually, "Don't they say the hidden sects things are hardly seen in the ordinary world? How could it be found in the Extreme Weapon Vault?" Li Hu smiled. "Brother Yi, you're not quite simple knowing about the hidden sects, but the weapons in the vault are not bought, but traded with materials. Normally, the country would look for rare materials in all sorts of strange places. Then, these materials are given to the hidden sects, which are used to trade for some special weapons." Hearing Li Hu's explanation, Yi Mo's eyes lit up. Wasn't he looking around for material? How complete would a country's collection be? His storage ring was still missing some material and couldn't be forged. If he could find some high-quality material, then it would be a gift from heaven. Thinking about this, Yi Mo walked in front of Elder Han and bowed once again. "Elder Han, I don't want the weapons in the vault. I would rather have a few pieces of material. What do you think?" Elder Han heard Li Hu's words just then, and now that Yi Mo asked, he couldn't help but smile. "The materials are used to trade for weapons. Of course it's fine if you want them, but you need to win first. If you can win against Du Tao, I'll let you choose 10. Yi Mo smiled. "Okay, thank you." Du Tao was furious. Yi Mo didn't even take him seriously, and sounded as though it was very easy to beat him. Chapter 146. No one can force me. Chapter 146. No one can force me. Seeing Du Tao, who was extremely angry, Yi Mo laughed to himself. Just by his attitude, he wouldn't get far in martial arts. "What are you looking at? Come. Make it quick. I need to go pick materials after this." Yi Mo looked at Du Tao and shook his head. In the cultivation realm, fighting someone whom one didn't know about could cause their life with the slightest mistake. Yi Mo could see Du Tao's power, and that was why he was so arrogant. However, Du Tao didn't know Yi Mo's power and felt he could surely beat Yi Mo. This was the real mistake. Hearing Yi Mo's words, Du Tao just charged up and attacked. However, Yi Mo acted as if he didn't see it at all and remained stationary. Judging by Du Tao's personality, he would use his legs straight up and try to beat him down using the shortest time without using his fists at all. And it was just as Yi Mo expected. Du Tao's fists were hollow attacks as he concentrated his power on his legs. Before Du Tao's fist reached, his right leg kicked like a straight line, as if a whirlwind. Yi Mo nodded. Du Tao's legs were far cry from Wu Chang, but his speed was nearing the latter's. Wu Chang's legs were not only fast, but also powerful. Even with Yi Mo's power, his legs felt pain after kicking Wu Chang's leg 20 times. Du Tao's speed was just below Wu Chang's, but his power and angel was a far cry from Wu Chang. Moreover, Du Tao had this implausible idea. He wanted to kick Yi Mo with his left leg after his right leg connected. This Yemo could tell from how the opponent charged power on his left leg. Yemo shook his head. He didn't know what Du Tao was thinking. If he could beat Yemo, he would only need his right leg, but he wanted to switch to left leg purely for aesthetics. This guy was really pretentious. He really overestimated himself, thinking that he could kick a guy whom he had never fought before flying. The woman beside Elder Han saw that Yemo didn't even move under Du Tao's hollow attack, and immediately frowned. Of course, she could tell Du Tao's fists were hollow, but she didn't expect Yemo to see it as well. She wouldn't believe that Yemo didn't have time to react. And not only did Yemo not move, he also looked at Du Tao's left leg and even shook his head. This woman immediately understood that Yemo could tell Du Tao's intentions. The act was pretty, but it was impractical, and it would only be effective on an opponent far weaker than him. As expected, Yemo slightly sidestepped and didn't even move his hand. However, he kicked his left leg towards Du Tao's leg a few times. Even that woman didn't see Yemo's movements clearly, and Yemo had already switched to his right leg before kicking Du Fei many meters away. Yemo attacked Du Tao the exact same way he did against Wu Chang, but it was just easier. When Du Tao's leg collided with Yemo's, he rejoiced. He felt that the power on his leg wasn't something Yemo could handle. Just when he was prepared to hear Yemo cry out in pain and switch leg in midair to kick Yemo away beautifully, there was a piercing pain from his right leg, rendering him unable to kick with his left leg. Du Tao was shocked and immediately knew things weren't good. Just when he wanted to retreat, Yemo kicked his right leg onto his stomach. His head buzzed and couldn't believe that he was kicked flying. The position was exactly what he wanted to kick Yemo with. So fast, these were the only 2 words in his brain. He only lasted 5 moves and was kicked flying by Yemo. That woman saw that Yemo actually did what Du Tao wanted cleanly, and even more aesthetically pleasing than Du Tao's imagination. Her heart moved and had a strong urge to fight Yemo, but eventually she suppressed this desire. Although she was sure she wouldn't lose to Yemo, she didn't want to expose her power in front of everyone. Du Tao fell to the ground and couldn't get up. However, Han Zaixin was shocked. He clearly knew who Du Tao was, and even in the Flying Snow Squad, he wasn't average. Moreover, he was also a yellow-ranked master, but he couldn't even last a few moves in front of Yemo Lu Gang, and Li Hu were also shocked. Li, who knew Yemo was strong, but didn't expect him to be this strong. Lu Gang was more shocked. He was still planning to battle Yemo too, but now that just seemed ridiculous. Not even 10 of him were a match for Du Tao, but Du Tao lost so completely in front of Yemo. Han Zaixin also knew about martial arts and knew that if it was a life or death battle, Du Tao would die faster. No one of the Song family couldn't do anything about Yemo so far. He was so strong. Where did he learn this from? Did he reach the black level of martial arts? Thinking about how Flying Snow Squad would be so much stronger if Yemo joined them, Han Zaixin was lost in thought. No, he must have Yemo in his squad. Yemo didn't care about Du Tao he kicked flying. He only cared about how much materials he could get from the keep. He saw Elder Han seem to be lost in thought, so he could only walk over and say, "Elder Han." Han Zaixin gasped for some air and felt Yemo was cuter and cuter. He really was someone special. Luckily, he suddenly thought of coming to see Yemo today. Otherwise, where would he find someone valuable like Yemo? Only a descendant of ancient martial arts sects could match Yemo, but Yemo was obviously not from those sections. If he was, how would the Song family dare to look for trouble with him? How would the Yi family be willing to kick him out? Yemo, I really didn't expect you to be so strong. Good, good, good. Then Han Zaixin studied Yemo and looked at him as though he was studying some treasure. Yemo felt helpless and could only wait for Han Zaixin to talk. At this moment, Du Tao had crawled up. Other than some pain on his leg, he was fine. He looked at Yi Mo with reverence from afar. He didn't expect Yi Mo to be so strong. This was the strongest opponent he had ever faced. Now he believed Yi Mo's words. His power was for killing, not for playing. If Yi Mo wanted to kill him just then, even a few of him would have died. He originally thought he was not bad. Now, it seemed he was still intolerably weak in front of the truly strong. And Yi Mo had a lot of killing chi. He said that he debilitated someone with a much strong-leg martial arts than him, and now it seemed to be true. Someone like Yi Mo didn't seem to be willing to lie about this, thinking that if he pissed Yi Mo off and he could potentially debilitate his leg too, he felt helpless. He shivered at the thought. Yi Mo must not be offended. He heard Yi Mo offended the Song family but was still fine. That seemed to be true. However, it was not that the Song family didn't bother to deal with him, but they just didn't dare to. After Han Zaixin repeated the words good, he stared at Yi Mo passionately and said, Yi Mo, join Flying Snow Squad. You must join. You can be the instructor. Yi Mo shook his head. Elder Han, I'm not interested in joining the army. I'm only interested in the materials in the keep. No, you must join Flying Snow Squad. If you don't, I won't let you choose the material. In a fit of worry, Han Zaixin threatened Yi Mo with the material. Yi Mo smiled calmly. In that case, Li Hu, I'll be leaving. Then he turned and left as though Han Zaixin was just there. Seeing that Yi Mo was leaving, Han Zaixin was worried and quickly pulled Yi Mo's clothes. Brother Yi, you mustn't leave. We can discuss about this. Just look at the materials first. Then we can talk, I beg you. Yi Mo, who was originally pissed off, saw Han Zaixin's expression and couldn't really get angry. So he freed his clothes and said, In that case, please send someone with me. No need, no need. I'll go with you myself. Han Zaixin felt he had grasped a bit of Yi Mo's personality and spoke quickly. Yi Mo wasn't hesitant in getting his material as he won that. Now that Han Zaixin said this, he immediately said, In that case, thank you, Elder Han, but if there's something I don't want to do, no one can force me, even the Heavenly Emperor. Yi Mo's last words weren't polite at all. Du Tao and Li Hu's mouth spasmed but didn't argue. If it was before the fight, Du Tao would sneer at Yi Mo, but now he felt he didn't have the right to. However, the woman beside Han Zaixin frowned and seemed to want to say something but eventually didn't. Han Zaixin knew his words before were unreasonable, so he wasn't angry at Yi Mo, and instead said, We can discuss about joining the squad later. Let's go see the material first. You're free to join if you want. Although he spoke like that, Han Zaixin was thinking about how he could keep Yi Mo. It seemed he had pissed Yi Mo off a little. Yes, how could a master like him be willingly constrained? If he was really that easy to talk to, the Song family would have devoured him already. Chapter 147. Each having their own calculations. Chapter 147. Each having their own calculations other than the two guards. Only that girl could accompany Han Zaixin into the keep. Not even Du Tao could go in and had to wait outside. Even the two guards could only stand at the door and not go in. Whether it was the extreme weapon keep or the materials keep, it was heavily guarded. Yi Mo suspected that without Han Zaixin's lead, it would be very troublesome even for him if he wanted to come in. Although he wasn't into high-tech, it didn't mean he knew nothing. After all, he studied for so long at Ninghai University, so he knew even about laser passages. There was one in the long corridor leading to extreme weapon keep. Yi Mo knew that he didn't have a way to pass it now, unless he didn't touch the ground, and the laser didn't activate. However, normal laser passages didn't need people to be on the ground. The motion sensor could activate the laser. Thinking about the rays of laser, Yi Mo felt stunned at heart too. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't stop the light rays, and he might even be cut into pieces, unless he had reached Foundation establishment or had a strong defense artifact. It seemed that his power was still too weak, and he underestimated the means of a country, since they could have these passages. It also meant that there were similar weapons, although it wouldn't be as strong as the one in the passage. It should be enough to threaten him. Han Zaixin didn't know about this. In order to attract Yemo, he took him to the extreme weapons keep first because he thought Yemo would immediately be attracted after coming into the keep. However, what made Han Zaixin surprised was that Yemo shook his head in disappointment after looking at the wide collection of weapons. He turned his head and asked, "Elder Han, didn't you say there were materials? Why are they all normal weapons?" Normal weapons? Han Zaixin's mouth spasmed. The special ops working for him all felt glory for coming in here and picking a weapon. However, in Yemo's eyes, they were only normal. It could be said that each weapon here was worth much more than the 600K he acquired. However, his eyes weren't good enough to pick it up. Now that Yemo asked, he could only say, "Yes, it's the keep beside here." Then Han Zaixin took Yemo to the other storage keep. Yemo noticed that when Yemo said he didn't see any material, Han Zaixin's expression was that his views were too low, but that woman frowned. Obviously, she didn't want Yemo to go in. When Yemo went in, he saw more materials. Although there was a lot of variety, most of them were useless to Yemo. Many metals and steel were unattractive to Yemo. Han Zaixin thought that Yemo would look carefully at all these material and would take a long time. However, Yemo just walked straight to a few mining stones and held them. He didn't know that Yemo had spirit sense and could tell what things they were just by scanning them. Although most materials were useless to Yemo rejoiced at finding 2 each of the purple copper essence or silver sand or an extreme wind stone. Moreover, he also found an extreme gray-black jade. Yemo was very happy to have these 7 stones, but it was a pity that he didn't find any ores for making flying swords. "Only found 7 you want." "Sigh, if we didn't ship away some 3 months ago, perhaps you would find more." Seeing Yemo only being interested in 7, Han Zaixin was disappointed. It seemed these materials keep couldn't attract him either. This time, Yemo was speechless. He was very satisfied to find 4 ores he needed on Earth. This was too rare. At least he could make a defense artifact for his sister, and he could make his storage ring. He didn't expect all these to be leftovers. "Elder Han, how often do you give things to the hidden sects?" Yemo couldn't resist to ask. Han Zaixin laughed. "It seems Li who told you, but these aren't secrets anyways. We usually give things to them annually. Our condition is that not only are they to help us." Grandpa, the girl beside Han Zaixin, spoke for the first time. Her voice was very crisp. Yemo didn't think that this girl was Han Zaixin's granddaughter. She was not a simple person. Han Zaixin smiled. Yemo is not an outsider. Plus, this isn't something that can't be told. Perhaps Yemo would soon be on our side. Yemo knew that Elder Han still hadn't given up on making him join the Flying Snow Squad. Although he didn't want to, but he didn't want to give up these materials. If he could pick some each year, then it would solve a large problem for him. Perhaps he could finish gathering the materials needed for Flying Sword. Thinking about this, Yemo said, "Elder Han, actually, I'm also decent at making weapons. I can use some weapons to trade materials with you. What do you think?" Han Zaixin smiled and said, "Yemo, you don't know the perks of the weapons from the hidden sects. That's why you say that. If you knew the worth of the weapons in the extreme weapons vault, then you wouldn't say this. But if you want materials, that's easy. Just join Flying Snow Squad, and I can let you pick 10 each year." Yemo was moved but didn't talk. Instead, that young girl said once again, "Grandpa, this way. Yen, only 10, it's fine. And before we trade things, I can still decide what to do with you. You just need to not tell them," Han Zaixin immediately said. The girl hesitated and eventually didn't say anything. From these words, Yemo already understood that this girl should be from the hidden sects and was Elder Han's granddaughter. However, 10 each year should be enough for him. Plus, they might not even gather 10 he needed each year. However, he didn't want to join Flying Snow Squad. It was too restricting and a waste of time. However, Yemo knew it was impossible for him to get these things for free. As though seeing Yemo's hesitation, Han Zaixin immediately said, "You just need to be the instructor, and you can move freely. You just need to help Flying Snow Squad do one thing each year." Yemo hesitated and said, "I can be the instructor, but I will only be teaching for 3 days each year and do one thing for Flying Snow Squad once every 2 years. And you must not use any reason to confine me. Otherwise, I wouldn't accept it." "Okay, deal." Han Zaixin revealed the smile of a cunning fox. He originally wanted to use extreme weapons vault to keep Yemo, since it was the same as using materials. As long as Yemo joined Flying Snow Squad, things would become easier. Yemo knew this was Han Zaixin's trap, but he had to jump in. He needed to cultivate it, and didn't have much time to search for ores and spirit grass. How powerful was the workforce of a country? No matter how Yemo searched, he could not compare with the power of a country. Plus, there was no harm for him. He wouldn't waste too much time being an instructor. After leaving the vault, he went to eat with Elder Han. It was already in the afternoon, and his documents were ready. It was a small blue booklet with his photo attached. It said Yemo was the instructor for Special Ops Force Flying Snow Squad, and he also had a Bureau of Chinese Special Forces stamp. Yemo felt this little booklet wasn't completely useless. Perhaps it would be useful in the future. They also brought with him a gun and a mobile phone. Yemo took it, thinking about how he just bought a phone yesterday, and now he got a new one. He shouldn't have bought it if he knew. Then he went to the training base for Flying Snow Squad and gave some instruction. Seeing the sky was dark, Yemo was scared his sister would be worried and was prepared to go to Huaqing University. However, after the captain of the squad Zhangju fought with Yemo, he was astonished and dragged Yemo to go to the party of the Beijing elites. Yemo was completely uninterested in such an event, but couldn't reject Zhangju and the other strong request. After all, he was still the instructor. Moreover, Yemo was scared that his sister didn't want to leave Beijing. If she stayed, and he didn't, it would be beneficial for her if he knew a few people in Beijing. After all, those who could come were either rich or powerful. Normal people couldn't come. For Yiling, last night was the best night of her life. Not only was her birthday smooth, she wasn't scared and knew that Yemo wasn't impotent. She felt grateful to Tian, he for testing Yemo's manhood. More importantly, Yemo said the Song family wouldn't come, and they didn't. She was fine the next day when she woke up. Being from a large, powerful family, Yiling knew that since Yemo didn't kill Song Xiaochen, and the Song family didn't come, it meant that they wouldn't. Despite not knowing why the Song family was so fearful of Yemo, she still felt proud of him. Only she knew that Yemo didn't rely on the Yi family at all. He relied only on himself. Yiling was all too clear on what sort of family was the Song family, so how could she not be proud of such a brother? Yiling was prepared to go meet with Yemo and Yi Zifeng, and then invite her friends in her dorm out for a good meal. So as soon as she got up and couldn't reach Yi Zifeng's phone, she rushed home quickly. As soon as she entered, she felt the atmosphere wasn't right. Chapter 148. Yiling's Problem. Chapter 148. Yiling's Problem. Kwani, how come I can't reach my brother? Is he at home? Yiling thought he couldn't reach Yi Zifeng last night because he shut down his mobile, but she still couldn't reach him this morning. She knew that Yi Zifeng rarely went back after her father passed away 2 years ago, and usually stayed at the Yi family mansion. Of course, it was partly due to Grandpa liking him, but she didn't know what Yi Zifeng was thinking. Yi Ling rarely went back to a home that was empty and stayed most of the time at school. Occasionally, she would go back to live a few days at the Yi family mansion. However, she needed to steal things, so she had been here more frequently. Although Yi Zifeng rarely went back, his phone was always on, but today, his phone was still off. This rarely happened. So the first thing Yi Ling did when she came to the Yi family mansion was to ask for Yi Zifeng's whereabouts. Quan Yi was the caretaker of the Yi family mansion. Yi Ling needed to be going in and out of the mansion, so she intentionally got close to Quan Yi. But today, Quan Yi saw Yi Ling's face, and her face quickly changed. She didn't answer Yi Ling's questions and walked away with her head down hurriedly. Yi Ling, you still dare to come back, get inside, a vulgar voice sounded. Before Yi Ling could react, a huge hand grabbed Yi Ling by the neck and easily dragged her in. The room was full of people. Not only were the main people in the Yi family there, even the women who weren't allowed in meetings were there too. It seemed that these people were already waiting for her. If she didn't come back herself, perhaps she would be apprehended. She looked at her grandpa sitting at the top, and her heart sunk. Many years ago, her second auntie interfered with her second uncle's business and was punished so severely. The things she did now were countless times more severe than what her second aunt did. No matter how much her grandpa liked her, she couldn't escape the consequences today. Yi Ling found that she looked through the entire house, and almost everyone was here other than Yi Zifeng. Where did Yi Zifeng go? Yi Ling suddenly worried as her heart skipped a beat. Could Yi Zifeng be punished due to her? She forgot that she should be worried about herself, not Yi Zifeng. Yi Beirong looked at Yi Ling once, and the disappointment was clear in his eyes. He didn't say anything. His health had been good, so he could survive for another 8 or 10 years. Because he liked Yi Wentian, he wanted to wait for another 10 years after Yi Zifeng was mature to see if he could give the leader position to Yi Zifeng. Out of the brothers, Yi Wenqi was too calculative and didn't have a broad view. He could only be calculative in small things. As for Yi Wenjin, he was more of an imbecile. However, Yi Zifeng was quite like his father. And this was the reason Yi Beirong didn't give the leader position to Yi Wenqi. Last time, he even tried to let Yi Zifeng enter the family meeting. Although his words weren't allowed, his performance was well. He thought of everything, but just didn't expect Yi Ling to do something so treacherous. She actually stole 2 of the Feng Shui Dragon Balls and gave it to their opponent, the Song family. If Yi Beirong could let this go easily, then there would be no point for the existence of the Yi family. Yi Beirong scanned the tens of people below and remained silent for a while before saying, "There are 2 things I want to announce in this meeting. The first thing is, from today, the leader of the family will be Yi Wenqi. 3 days later, we will do the exchange. The second thing is Yi Ling's treacherous acts will be dealt with by Yi Wenqi." Then Yi Beirong stood up from the leader chair and sighed. He didn't sit on another chair and instead walked out of the room. Yi Ling's heart was cold. It seemed her grandpa wouldn't let her go. If her grandpa punished her, she would still have some chance, but if it was her big uncle, then she wouldn't even know what would wait for her. Plus, her grandpa wasn't here. Yi Ling suddenly looked at Yi Lu, who was behind her 4th uncle, and was immediately shocked. She was caught, but why was Yi Lu fine? Yi Lu did more things than her, but just didn't steal the Dragon Balls. Plus, it was Yi Lu who introduced her to Gu Luo. And Gu Luo said Yi Lu was working for him from a long time ago. Since the Yi family could find out she stole the Dragon Balls, how could they not know what Yi Lu did? Yi Ling's heart couldn't help but to sink. She had experienced some things, and was no longer the naive child she once was. She thought about her suspicion about her father's death, as well as the things she did. Could her big uncle not tell she was intentionally getting close to them? They took this long to know she stole the Dragon Balls, and was sure she took it? Did her big uncle's men not care all this time she'd been inside the mansion? Yi Ling suddenly thought of a scary truth. It was that right from the beginning. Her big uncle and fourth uncle knew what she was doing, but they just let her be. She was in trouble, but Yi Lu was free instead. So perhaps they purposely got Yi Lu to get close to her. Yi Ling was shivering at her thought. Why did her big uncle do this? What good was there for him? Was it just to kill her and her brother? The more she thought, the more she felt the chances were high. How old was she? She hadn't even graduated. Her big uncle and them were cunning. She could only lose in a wisdom battle with them. Her brother Yi Mo was kicked out by them because of his bodily issues. Yi Ling couldn't understand why her big uncle and fourth uncle would do this and try to eradicate their line. But everything else Yi Ling understood. If Yi Ling knew that Grandpa was planning for Yi Zifeng to be the leader of the family 10 years later, she would understand. Zhang Ju was not as famous in Beijing as Du Tao. When Yi Mo, Zhang Ju, Du Tao, and Li Hu walked in, most people only greeted Du Tao since he was the vice head of the National Security Bureau. However, Du Tao wasn't feeling full of himself at all because only he understood that other than Li Hu, Yi Mo, and Zhang Ju's identity were higher than his. Zhang Ju didn't like this sort of scene, but he didn't really understand Yi Mo's personality, and that's why he pulled him here. Brother Zhang, your arrival really surprised me. A youth not yet in his 30s arrived. It seemed that not everyone didn't recognize Zhang Ju. This youth speaking obviously knew Zhang Ju and his identity. Zhang Ju smiled and turned to Yi Mo and said, "This is the young master of the Li family, Li Qiang. He's quite famous in Beijing, haha." Li Qiang looked curiously at Yi Mo. He knew Du Tao was still a subordinate of Zhang Ju. What Li Qiang didn't expect was that Zhang Ju actually introduced him to the youth beside him whom he didn't know. This youth dressed very ordinarily, or he was perhaps even poorly dressed. Who was this person? When Zhang Ju introduced him, he was obviously very respectful. Other than that old man Han Zixin, who else could let Zhang Ju be so respectful to? And Du Tao and Zhang Ju were both half a step behind him. Although there was just that slight distance, it was enough for Li Qiang to judge Yi Mo's status. He had understood that Yi Mo was no ordinary person and had a higher status than Zhang Ju at least. Li Qiang's heart moved. He wouldn't judge by appearances and quickly walked up to Yi Mo and extended his hand. "I'm Li Qiang, Zhang Ju's loyal supporter," and his friend Yi Mo smiled and shook hands with him. "I'm Yi Mo. I just got to know Zhang Ju today." Li Qiang's mouth spasmed. He was all too clear on Zhang Ju's arrogance. He would never believe Zhang Ju would be so respectful to someone whom he just met, but Yi Mo didn't seem to be lying. Yi Mo, this name seemed to be familiar. The same name as the trash who was kicked out of the Yi family. "Haha, let's not stand here. Mr. Ji Beichen, who just came back from Taiwan, will hold a charity auction. Then there will be a ball. Let's sit down and have a chat later at the auction. You can see if you have anything you want. Ji Beichen is a famous antiques collector. It's said he prepares a lot of good things whenever he comes back." Li Qiang smiled and said, "Okay, I've heard of Ji Beichen's name for a long time. Although I don't have much money, I still want to see his collection." Zhang Ju immediately agreed. Sorry, a person suddenly bumped into Yi Mo and apologized right away. However, when the person looked at Yi Mo, that person voiced out, "Hey, it's you." Yi Mo saw that he had actually seen the person who bumped into him before. She was the Tan Fei, who was going to give him an album when he got off the plane yesterday. He didn't expect to see her at this upper-class social night, but since she was that famous, she did seem to have the ability to come. "Fei Fei, after tonight's auction, there's a ball. I'll dance with you later." A young man followed closely. Tan Fei no longer had the mood to think how someone is poor, as Yi Mo could come in here and turn to look at the man and said, "Sorry, young master, my leg is injured." Chapter 149. Too freaking awesome. Chapter 149. Too freaking awesome, Yi Mo scanned with his spirit sense. Tan Fei's leg was fine. It seemed that she just wanted to reject this young master, Yi, and couldn't help but to smile, thinking that women could always find an excuse. However, his smile was caught by the young master, Yi. A person dressing so poorly dared to laugh at him, and it was obviously because Tan Fei rejected him. What are you laughing at? You bumped into Fei Fei and hurt her leg. If you laugh again, I'll tear your mouth. This youth saw Yi Mo's smile and was angered by embarrassment. Hearing these words, Zhang Ju's face sunk but didn't rage. This young master Yi in front of him was from the Song family and was the son of Song Qifeng, someone who had great power. He was also in the Xiao generation. However, because a feng shui master said that he would be able to achieve something great once he took the Xiao away from his name, he changed it Song Yi. Although he wasn't afraid of Song Yi, but getting on bad terms with Song Yi was the same as getting on bad terms with the Song family. Li Chuyang's mouth smiled. He just got to know Yi Mo, so of course he wouldn't stand up for him. Moreover, Song Yi's status was no lower than his, perhaps even a little higher. Although his Li family was one of the 5 great families of Beijing, there were too many people in the Li family, and he was only a decent member. He was still a little low compared to a core member such as Song Yi. Yi Mo frowned. Who was this young master Yi? He was so cocky. However, Tan Fei had reacted and quickly said, "This isn't his fault. I accidentally bumped into him. Fei Fei, just stand aside and dance with me later. If I say it's his fault, it is his fault." Then Song Yi walked up with cruelty. Zhang Ju finally couldn't resist anymore and was going to argue with Song Yi, but Yi Mo stopped him. "You're called Song Yi? From the Song family?" Yi Mo looked at Song Yi and coldly said, "It's too late to know I'm from the Song family. Chuyang, this guy's not related to you, right? Don't blame me for not considering you." Song Yi casually looked at Li Chuyang. Slap, 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 slap. Before Song Yi even finished his words, Yi Mo had slapped him 4 times on the face already. Song Yi was slapped meters away and crumbled to the ground. Teeth flew out as his mouth was covered in blood. After the initial shock, he immediately pointed his finger at Yi Mo crazily and stammeringly said, "You don't want to live, you dare to hit me." Everyone around was shocked. Song Yi's identity. Who didn't know? This poor-looking youth dared to break so many of his teeth and bruise his face. Li Chuyang was shocked. Although he knew that Yi Mo's status was quite high, but who dared to easily beat up Song Yi like this? Of course, it was only unless he didn't know who Song Yi was. Tan Fei was shocked and was at a loss for words. She could only think that it was over. If she knew this would happen, she should have danced with Song Yi, but now people may die. Although Zhang Ju was shocked, he was still calm. Although the Song family was powerful, he was the captain of Flying Snow Squad, so he didn't need to be afraid of them. At this moment, Yi Mo slowly said, "So what if I beat up people from the Song family?" Then he walked up and kicked Song Yi on the leg, making a cracking sound. He actually broke Song Yi's leg in front of so many people after knowing who Song Yi was. Everyone around him looked at him as though he was crazy. Song Yi didn't faint from the pain, but almost fainted due to anger. At this moment, 2 men quickly rushed in front of Song Yi and wiped the blood from his mouth. One of the men stared coldly at Yi Mo. "You're very bold. I hope you will still be so calm and bold later." Then he picked up the phone. Yi Mo laughed. "Even if Song Qiming is standing in front of my face, I'm still so calm. You are Yi Mo?" At this moment, the other person from the Song family finally recognized Yi Mo, and his face immediately changed. "Yi Mo." The other man calling repeated this name and actually put down the phone. Yi Mo sneered. "Good. Your dog eyes aren't blind. I was just trying to find a reason to go to the Song family, but I didn't expect the wild seeds of Song family to come to me. In that case, don't blame me." The people around were dumbfounded to hear Such insults in the face of the Song family, but people were more shocked afterwards. When Song Yi heard the person in front was Yi Mo, his eyes were full of fear. He didn't even care about the pain on his leg. He sat up and said to Yi Mo, "Young Master Mo, sorry, I didn't know it was you. Go, let's go." The two men who were going to look for trouble with Yi Mo weren't surprised at all at Song Yi's apology after knowing that it was Yi Mo. After Song Yi apologized, they carried Song Yi and turned to leave. They didn't leave any tough words behind and didn't even continue the call. Zhang Ju's eyes showed contemplation, but soon he understood. Yi Mo must have came from the hidden sects. Otherwise, Song Yi wouldn't be so cowardly. Only Du Tao guessed something. He guessed that the Song family was scared Yi Mo would go on a rampage at the Song family, disregarding the consequences. The most shocked were the people around. They were all guessing who Yi Mo was. He beat Song Yi like that, but Song Yi still had to apologize. That was too freaking awesome. Tan Fei looked at Yi Mo in disbelief. Yi Mo was still dressed like before. Although he looked clean, but the clothes on him wouldn't be worth more than 200. His pockets seemed very full, and he looked very poor. However, just who was he? Who was Song Yi? He was the young master of the Song family. His reputation was no better than Song Shaowen before. Tan Fei knew that quite well. And even if she wanted to find someone to protect her, there was no one who would not fear Song Yi. But this young man in front of her beat up Song Yi, and Song Yi still had to apologize. The way Tan Fei looked at Yi Mo also became more respectful. Although she was a popular songstress, she was nothing in front of these big family young masters. "Brother Yi, this way, please. Would you be interested in antiques? If you are, tonight, Mr. Ji Beicheng won't disappoint you." Li Chuyang didn't mention what happened just then at all, but the hospitality on his face was more vivid. He was thinking who Yi Mo was, but he knew now was not the time to ask. Tan Fei looked at Yi Mo with complicated and apologetic eyes. "Yi Mo, thank you for just then. I'm really sorry. I'm Tan Fei. Will I have the honor of knowing you?" "It's nothing big, don't worry. And I have problems with the Song family. Even if they don't come for me, I will go for them. I'm Yi Mo. We already know each other anyways, so no need for that formality." Yi Mo waved his hand and said, if he really did see someone from the Song family, he would definitely go look for trouble. He wanted to know what Song Qiming's bottom line was. Fei, I've been looking for you a long time." Another sweet-looking girl walked over and grabbed Tan Fei's hand. "Come, Xiao Yu and Aunt Yun are here." Then this girl didn't even give Tan Fei the chance to reply and dragged her away. Tan Fei turned around and gave Yi Mo another apologetic smile. "If you have time, I wish to invite you to dinner." Yi Mo didn't have his attention on Tan Fei at the moment and was listening to the conversation between the two men in the distance. They would have never thought that Yi Mo could still hear their words at such distance. "Did you see? That person who beat up Song Yi is called Yi Mo. Could he be that Yi Mo from the Yi family?" "No way. Yi family's Yi Mo is a garbage. How can he be here and teach Song Yi a lesson? By the way, no one from the Yi family seemed to be here tonight." "There's definitely no one from the Yi family out tonight." "What? You know why? I asked out Yi Ling last night. She said that there was something in his family today and couldn't come out. For a big family like theirs, even someone like Yi Ling wouldn't come out. That must mean something big is happening." "Not necessarily. How could a family as big as the Yi family have big problems? But these things aren't something that we can care about. Did you see Tan Fei just then? She's indeed pretty. No wonder Song Yi was interested." "The auction is about to start. Mr. Ji Beichun is here." Someone called out and interrupted Yi Mo's focus. Yi Mo, however, felt this unknown uneasiness in his heart. He frowned and immediately realized it was because he heard those words and thought about Yi Ling. He hadn't seen Yi Ling this entire day. She must be worried after putting their arrangement on hold for so long. Thinking about this, Yi Mo could no longer stay and immediately said, I have something urgent. I need to go. We'll talk next time. Chapter 150. Yi Mo's Fury? Chapter 150. Yi Mo's Fury. You are Yi Ling's boyfriend. So isn't she living with you? And how did you get in? Li also came to the door. Yeah, Yi Ling left in the morning and hasn't been back. We thought you guys were enjoying your private time that you forgot about inviting us to dinner, Tian, he said. Yi Mo suddenly had a bad feeling and urgently asked, which one of you have Yi Ling's number? Yi Ling's boyfriend didn't have her number, although they were speechless. But seeing Yi Mo's desperate expression, Tian, he still gave it to him. Thanks. Yi Mo got Yi Ling's number. Then he said one word and disappeared. He runs really fast. Did he have an argument with Yi Ling? Dan walked up and inquired. Tian shook her head. I don't think so. Look at how worried Yi Ling was for him. How could she bear to argue with such a handsome boyfriend? If I have such a boyfriend, I would do anything he asks. There's no way I would argue with him. Okay, Tian, I'm sure you're not a virgin anymore. Tell me the truth. Who slept with you? Dan giggled and said. Tian, he sighed. I also don't want it, but I can't find someone like Yi Ling's boyfriend. If there is, I'm willing to chase him. PFT, Yi Ling just said last night that guy was her brother? Dan had a face of disbelief. Yeah, but you need to make me believe it. If I have a boyfriend I love, I'll also call him brother. Is that not okay? Tian, he said. Yi Mo called Yi Ling as soon as he got her number, but it said her phone was unavailable. Yi Ling knew he was at Beijing and even wanted to ask Yi Zifeng out today. There was no way her phone would be shut. Her dorm mates said she was out in the morning, so how could there be no news of her till now? And even her phone was shut? Did something happen? The first thing Yi Mo thought of was those two people saying something happened at the Yi family. Did something happen to Yi Ling? Although Yi Mo wasn't too sure of those *T family laws, but he still knew a bit. If people knew that Yi Ling stole the Dragon Balls, then there was no way she could escape. Thinking about Yi Ling, Yi Mo's heart was burning with worry. He even regretted staying in the training base for the whole day. He should have taken the money and left in the morning. Yi Mo called a taxi and made the taxi go to the Yi family mansion as fast as he could. At the door, the driver stopped because cars were not allowed ahead. Yi Mo got off, and with an invisibility magic, he darted like a hurricane through the long, shady road into the mansion. All of these only took half a minute for Yi Mo. Even a car would take a minute for this. There were still 2 guards at the door. If he didn't see Yi Ling's situation, he would go in with the invisibility magic, but at the door of the inner front yard, he had already scanned Yi Ling's state. His spirit sense could reach nearly 80 meters now. The moment he saw Yi Ling, his fury erupted. Yi Ling's head sagged down with her hair in a mess and was hung up at the corner of the yard inside a mosque. Her body was bloodied. It was obviously whiplashes, and what was left to cover her were tattered clothes. In just a day's time, she was tortured to this state. Bam! Yi Mo kicked the door, flying many meters away. Before the 2 guards could react, they were already killed, spitting blood on the ground. Yi Mo went into the mosque with his fastest speed and cut off the rope with a wind blade. Yi Ling dropped into his arms. Yi Mo felt some relief as she hadn't died yet, but just fainted. It was probably because she hadn't eaten at all and was beaten heavily. If he came an hour or 2 late, it would be very hard to say if she would still be alive. Yi Mo's cultivation chi started running as he immediately inserted it into Yi Ling's body. Yi Ling had received internal injuries, but under Yi Mo's treatment, her injuries gradually disappeared. After 10 more minutes, she woke up and looked at the person in front of her. It was actually Yi Mo. She was shocked and immediately asked, "Brother, Why did you come? This has nothing to do with you. Why did they capture you? Yi Mo affectionately wiped the blood from Yi Ling's head and said, Sorry, Yi Ling, I came late. I will take you and leave later, but I will first avenge you. I'll wash you first. Close your eyes. Yi Ling moaned and found that there was not a single part of her clothes or skin that was all right. Yi Mo was her brother, and she didn't think otherwise. She just felt there was a warm sense in her body that prevented her from feeling pain and instead made her comfortable. She didn't know why Yi Mo was cleaning her up. Although she was his sister and her clothes were just tattered, she was still embarrassed. Yi Mo looked at the lashes on her body. There were bruises everywhere, and a fit of fury burned inside him. He used a few water ball magic and cleaned Yi Ling. At the same time, with his chi, those scars and bruises quickly disappeared. 10 minutes later, there was already a ruckus outside. Yi Mo then took off his shirt and put it on Yi Ling. Yi Ling opened her eyes and looked at her wounds. They had actually disappeared. She looked at Yi Mo in shock. Brother, what medicine did you use? How come I don't feel any pain at all, and there are no marks on my body anymore? It's really magical, but I'm a little hungry. Yi Mo caressed Yi Ling's hair. Your brother is a doctor and has opened up a clinic. This time, leave Beijing with me, okay? Yi Ling obediently nodded. At this moment, she felt calm and happy in her brother's arms without a single bit of worry. A faint serenity made her feel comfortable. If she could stay with her brother, she would never stay in this horrific Yi family again. She just didn't know what was happening to Yi Zifeng. Brother, you took off your clothes and gave it to me. What about you? I didn't think you would have such a sturdy build when you look so feeble and scholarly. Yi Ling subconsciously touched Yi Mo's sturdy arms and complimented. Just when Yi Mo wanted to say something, there was more and more people outside. It seemed that the Yi family people had come. Yi Mo had already scanned 20 to 30 armed guards. Yi Ling, however, didn't notice them yet. She suddenly reached her hand into one of Yi Mo's pockets and said, once again, Brother, why do you have so many stones on you? There are some in your pants pocket too? Yi Mo just gave his top to Yi Ling, and she was still in his arms now, so she casually felt the oars in the pockets of his pants. We'll talk about this later. Yi Mo took down the rope that tied Yi Ling before, and made Yi Ling get on his back before tying her once again, after which he kicked on the mosque's door. The sturdy door was kicked into pieces. Without any report from the outer yard, someone reached the inner yard and kicked 2 guards to death. Of course, Yi Beirong knew of such major thing, but what made him more angry was that as soon as he came, he saw Yi Mo break the mosque door. Not only was he angry at the guard's uselessness, but he was also angry at Yi Mo for breaking the big door. Capture him immediately and bring him inside. The rest of you should leave immediately. All of the Yi family members come to the meeting lounge immediately. Yi Beirong almost ordered to kill Yi Mo and Yi Ling under such rage, but he still had his senses. Someone who was so cocky in the Yi family mansion must be killed, but before they lose their lives, he still needed to ask some things. As such, he immediately held a meeting. In his eyes, it wouldn't take long at all for all these people to capture a youth with Yi Ling on his back. He didn't need to worry at all. He had only seen Yi Mo a few times, and now Yi Mo changed a lot, so he didn't recognize him. Yi Mo sneered. He dared to charge into Sai Na Peninsula and face the Nanqing army numbering thousands. So how could he worry about 20 to 30 guards? Yi Ling was already worried. She wanted Yi Mo to leave first, but she knew that with so many people surrounding them, it was impractical for Yi Mo to escape. She could only sigh while thinking about their current situation. If she was going to die, she might as well die with Yi Mo. However, the following scene almost made her doubt her eyes. Yi Mo almost flew and charged into those 20 guards. Yi Ling could only see shadows of Yi Mo's fists and kicks as a fit thuds echoed out. Yi Ling didn't think that Yi Mo would actually be so strong. He was carrying her, yet he still easily beat up 20 to 30 guards. Thinking about how he helped her heal so fast, and that warm feeling in her body, no matter how dumb she was, she knew that Yi Mo was no longer the Yi Mo she knew. She thought about last night. Yi Mo easily killed people and took her away from that entertainment place. Until now, the Song family still didn't dare to hunt them. Now, it seemed that the Song family knew her brother was strong and didn't dare to come. She didn't think Yi Mo would become this strong. This wasn't something she could imagine. Her brother was so excellent, but that Ning Qingxue still dared to revoke the marriage. She must be blind. If Yi Mo wasn't her biological brother, then perhaps even she would fall in love with him. Thinking about this, Yi Ling cursed herself for thinking too much, but it really felt comfortable on her brother's back. Perhaps she was too tired and gradually fell asleep. You are very strong, but even so, don't think about leaving this mansion today. A plain voice sounded after Yi Mo beat up tens of people. Chapter 151. All of you stand out. Chapter 151. All of you stand out. Yi Mo looked at the person talking to him. That person was less than 40 and had a waxy face. He had a very bizarre styled long sword. The blade wasn't long, but it was shining black, which didn't match its owner's waxy yellow face. This person should be a lot stronger than Hu Qiu. Although he was not as strong as Wu Chang, he should be on the same level as Zhang Ju. Yi Mo didn't expect there to be such a master at the Yi family mansion. According to his experience, this person was a tertiary stage, yellow-level martial artist. If Yi Mo was still stage 2 qi gathering, then he wouldn't even think before leaving. He wouldn't be able to leave unscathed even by himself, much less with Yi Ling on his back. But now, he was at the stage 3 qi gathering. Wu Chang couldn't even last 20 moves from him, and this guy was weaker than Wu Chang. Yi Mo was still wondering whether or not to kill him when this man's long sword howled towards his waist. As that man struck, there wasn't any hesitation, as though he wanted to cut Yi Mo in half. Although it was just one swing, what came into his eyes were tens of blades. Even Hu Qiu's whip prowess was a lot lesser than this man's sword skills. The speed and transformations on this swing was indeed a rare scene. To be this good at the sword, one not only needed to practice rare techniques, but they also need a certain amount of inner qi. Yi Mo knew that the sword wasn't going to cut his waist, but rather his legs. That man probably saw him attack, so he judged that Yi Mo would be able to dodge this swing. Then his killing blow would be a ground-sweeping cut. Before the swing finished, he focused all his power into his lower body, and also started to squat. Yi Mo saw this subtle change. No matter where he landed, as long as he was within 10 meters radius, he would lose his legs. Of course, if he couldn't even dodge the first swing, he would lose his waist. It seemed that he was pretty faithful in Yi Mo dodging the first swing, and then cutting off his legs with the second swing. Yi Mo sneered. There really was no challenge in fighting someone a few calibers lower than him. Each move of the opponent was in his prediction. Despite having Yi Ling on his back, Yi Mo twisted his waist slightly, and the tens of blade shadows were dodged. Of course, as soon as this man saw Yi Mo dodged his swing, he was happy instead. His blade didn't stop for a moment before switching to an arc swing from the ground. Under the dim yellow light, this swing was like mercury spill that covered a 7-meter radius. He sneered. No matter how strong Yi Mo was, as long as he landed, he could cut off Yi Mo's legs. Yi Mo was able to not land. Even if he carried Yi Ling, he was able to use his wind-controlling art and glide to more than 10 meters out before landing. As such, the moment when his foot landed, the silver on the ground disappeared, leaving a long sword that was stepped under his foot. The man's sneering face froze. He never had expected that someone could break his move using such unimaginable ways. Under shock, the man immediately reacted. The sword in his hand twisted in an attempt to pull the sword from under Yi Mo's foot. Yi Mo felt an intriguingly strong force from under his foot. Just when he wanted to use more force, the sword had broken into 2 segments. The man held the half of the sword, and without hesitation, the long sword turned into a glimmer that struck towards Yi Mo's stomach. Meanwhile, he followed behind the hilt of the sword as his 2 hands turned into shadows attacking towards Yi Mo's chest. Yi Mo didn't expect this person to be so good at long sword and fists. As the sword was about to hit Yi Mo's stomach, he raised his foot and kicked the sword flying. Then, with a single fist, he punched the man's fist shadows. Bang, bang. The clash of fists and palms echoed out. Crack. Yi Mo didn't hold back at all. He used his fastest speed and sealed the man's fist shadows while twisting both of the man's wrists until they were broken. The man took a few steps back, and his waxy yellow face became pale. The pain on his face could not cover his shock, although he was a tertiary stage yellow-level martial artist. Not even those at the peak of the yellow level could beat him. However, this youth, who was much smaller than him, easily broke through his killing move and sealed all of his fist shadows, and then broke his wrists. Ever since he graduated, it was his first time meeting someone so strong. How come he hadn't heard of this man in the hidden sects? He couldn't even last 10 moves before he was gruesomely defeated. Yi Mo bleakly looked at the man. Did you want to cut one or both of my legs off just then? Yi Mo wasn't sure because the man was so proficient with that move. If Yi Mo failed to step on that blade, then that man could have done whatever he wished on Yi Mo's legs. I just wanted to cut your left leg. Beads of sweat dripped from the man's pale face. Very well. I'll return the favor. Then Yi Mo kicked the other half of the sword, and it turned into a white ray that was faster than when the man swung his sword at Yi Mo. P.S. A faint sound reverberated. When the man realized what had happened, his left leg was severed. Yi Mo had disappeared in front of him. He looked at the place where Yi Mo disappeared in terror until blood gushed out from his wound, before he thought about stopping the bleeding. That sword was a casual throw, yet it still cut his legs clean like tofu. Who was he? Who the hell was he? How could he be so horrifying and strong? If this person wanted to annihilate the Yi family, even if he had a few more helpers, they would still be no match for him. How could he meet such a master in an urban city? The man couldn't help but to start shaking. Master, what's wrong? A youth in his 20s hurriedly came and helped the wobbly man up. The man saw the youth come and gasped a sigh of relief before immediately saying, "My wrists are broken. Immediately grab my severed leg and carry me away from this place as far as possible. Quick, now." 20 to 30 people plus Huang Yu. How come they're still not here yet? Wenjin, go have a look. Yi Beirong had calmed down now. No matter who the youth was, he would still kill him after asking him some things. The Yi family wasn't some place people could come and go. No need, I've come, a cold voice sounded at the door. Yi Beirong suddenly stood up and looked at Yi Mo in disbelief. Yi Mo was obviously not captured. After a long while, he reacted, "How did you come in? What happened to Huang Yu and the others? Didn't you tell me to come in? Are you talking about that yellow-faced long sword wielder? I cut off his leg and broke his wrists. He's been rescued away now." Yi Mo stared coldly at Yi Beirong before saying, "What?" Yi Beirong's head buzzed. Other people didn't know Huang Ye's power, but he was all too clear. This man said he cut off Huang Yu's leg. So how strong must he be? And why does he look a little familiar? Of course, Yi Long also knew how strong Huang Yu was. Now that Yi Mo said this, he didn't believe it, but soon people came in and reported to him what happened outside. The way Yi Long looked at Yi Mo immediately changed. Someone who could chop off Huang Yu's leg was definitely from the hidden sections. Yi Beirong also heard the report and showed a serious face. He immediately said in a low voice, reported immediately, "Brother, why did you come back here?" Yi Ling looked at this hall in fear. She was sentenced to death here in the morning and must be whipped for 3 days. As such, as soon as she come to this house, she felt a natural fear. "Who are you? How dare you be so cocky? Don't you know this is the Yi family? Yi Ling, how dare you bring outsiders to ravage here?" Yi Weiqi saw his father's dissatisfaction and called out. Yi Mo plainly glanced at Yi Wenqi. "Are you deaf? Didn't you hear Yi Ling call me brother? I'm Yi Mo, but I'm not a member of this family anymore." Of course, Yi Mo would never admit he was from the Yi family. Regardless of whether Yi Wentian was his biological father in this world, he still wasn't from the Yi family. "You are Yi Mo?" Yi Long stood up and looked at Yi Mo in shock. He finally understood why Yi Mo could still be fine after killing Song Shaoan. With his ability to cut off Wang Yu's leg, it was way too easy for him to kill a few Song family people and escape. It wasn't that the Song family didn't want to retaliate, but they didn't dare. By the looks of it, their intel was far inferior than the Song family. If Yi Long could understand this, of course Yi Beirong could too. He didn't expect Yi Mo to grow to this state. Yi Beirong calmed down once again and suppressed the shock in his heart. He sat down and looked at Yi Mo. "Since you are Yi Mo and are a member of the Yi family, why did you break the mosque door?" "Dad, I really tested Yi Mo's blood in the hospital. He's not from the Yi family." At this moment, Yi Wenqi spoke. "Shut up," Yi Beirong reproached. Yi Mo sneered. "Of course I'm not from the Yi family. I don't need you to remind me. I never thought myself as a member of this family. The reason I still haven't left today is to collect some debts. Who hit Yi Ling yesterday? All of you stand out. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing you all. Don't doubt my words." Chapter 152. Good with both sides. Chapter 152. Good with both sides. Yi Mo. It's very rare to be able to practice martial arts to this degree. I don't know what fortune you had, but Yi Ling stole the Yi family's Feng Shui Dragon Balls. She's unforgivable. Although Yi Beirong calmed down on the surface, he still couldn't calm down inside. He didn't expect Yi Mo's power to reach this state. If he came back to the Yi family, then the Song family's cockiness will cease. However, he couldn't just ask for Yi Mo to come back. He could only do that through Yi Ling. He now no longer had the wish to punish Yi Ling. Plus, with Yi Mo's power, it would be a joke trying to punish Yi Ling. Seeing Yi Mo sneer, Yi Beirong continued, "Even if you're strong, can you stop Flying Eagle?" "I've already reported. Not only will there be people from Flying Eagle Squad coming, but there will also be 3 people coming from Flying Snow Squad. If you are willing to admit your mistakes, I won't blame you." Yi Mo acted as though he didn't hear it. Of course, he knew about Flying Eagle. He was already the instructor for Flying Snow Squad, so how could he not know about Flying Eagle? In China's 9 Flying Special Ops Forces, Flying Eagle Squad was ranked 3rd. Seeing Yi Mo stay silent, Yi Beirong thought Yi Mo felt threatened. Just when he wanted to continue, Yi Mo suddenly took 2 balls from his pocket. "You said that Yi Ling is unforgivable for taking these 2 Dragon Balls, and you're going to beat her to death? How are the Dragon Balls in your hands?" Yi Wenjin knew that the things were in the Song family's hands, but now that Yi Mo had them, he couldn't stop himself from exclaiming. But immediately, he continued, "Is stealing the Dragon Balls forgivable? This is a treacherous act against the Yi family." "Very well." Yi Mo gathered cultivation chi on his hand, and the 2 Dragon Balls were crushed to powder. After doing so, Yi Mo looked at Yi Wenjin and said, "I've crushed both of them. What sin are you going to sentence me?" Everyone in the Yi family was shocked, although the 2 Dragon Balls were stolen away, but the Yi family would eventually get it back through negotiation. At most, they would lose some interest, but now Yi Mo just crushed it. Yi Beirong looked at the crushed Dragon Balls in shock and couldn't say a word for a long time. Other than fury, he felt shock. How dare Yi Mo act in such a way? Yi Beirong pointed at Yi Mo. He was so angry that he couldn't say a thing. Yi Long and Yi Wenqi felt more shock than fear. They knew how hard the Dragon Balls were. Even if they used a hammer, they would need a lot of strength to shatter it. However, Yi Mo just rubbed it with his hands, and it was powderized. Just what sort of strength was this? Yi Ling couldn't bear the scene, and whispered in Yi Mo's ear, "Brother, Grandpa has been quite nice to me. Don't make him too angry." Yi Mo sneered. "Is beating you to death being nice to you? I don't think you need this kind of nice. I will count to 3. Whoever hit Yi Ling stand up, or I won't hold back. And whoever grabbed Yi Ling by the neck and left the 2 marks speak." Looking at the extremely cocky Yi Mo, Yi Beirong was shaking with anger. He was originally planning for Yi Mo to return to the Yi family, but by the looks of it, he might as well let the Flying Eagle members kill Yi Mo. "I grab her neck. So what?" a middle-aged man said angrily to Yi Mo. He was called Yi Wenqi, a nephew of Yi Beirong. Yi Mo turned to look at that man and blandly asked, "Oh, which hand did you use?" "What? I used my left hand. What can you do to me?" Yi Wenqi was not bad in martial arts, and he couldn't stand Yi Mo's arrogance. "Nothing. I will take your left hand." Then Yi Mo casually swiped through air. A blood ray shot out from Yi Wenqi's left shoulder, and his left hand, along with his entire arm reaching to the shoulder, was cleanly sliced by some invisible sword. The people in the room were in extreme fear. Once again. Although Yi Mo said he chopped off Huang Ye's leg, many of them didn't know how strong Huang Ye was, and they didn't see it for themselves. Now that they saw Yi Mo sever Yi Wenqi's hand without moving, they finally realized how fearsome Yi Mo was. Yi Beirong knew Yi Mo was very strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to beat Huang Yu. However, casually cutting off Yi Wenqi's arm without moving, this was far beyond his comprehension. He stared in shock at Yi Mo's hand and forgot the fact that Yi Mo broke the Dragon Balls. He had already tried to overestimate Yi Mo, but he realized now that he still underestimated him a lot. He was guessing what projectile Yi Mo used. Yi Wenqi had been carried out, and Yi Mo didn't seem to notice it. On the other hand, Yi Ling was shocked. She didn't expect Yi Mo to cut off her uncle's arm in front of so many people. A while ago, when Yi Mo cut off Huang Yu's leg, she was asleep, so she didn't know Yi Mo's fierceness. "Bring out the people who hit Yi Ling, and I'll pretend nothing happened, and leave. If you don't, then don't blame me. Yi Wenqi, slap yourself 30 times. If you still haven't moved before I go, you will regret it." Of course, Yi Mo wasn't going to let go of the main culprit for Yi Ling's apprehension. However, he couldn't just kill him now. He would think about it before he left. Just at this moment, another person came and bowed to Yi Beirong before saying, "The people from Nanqing are here. Do you want them to come in?" Yi Beirong seemed to suddenly woke up and quickly said, Quick, let them come in. Nanqing's people just came yesterday. Originally, they wanted to cooperate with Yi Beirong, but because the Yi family's Dragon Balls disappeared, they were arranged to the hotel. Just then, when Yi Mo came, Yi Beirong asked for them. Yi Beirong wanted to use them against Yi Mo. He thought that no matter how strong Yi Mo was, he wouldn't be able to do much to Nanqing. Yi Beirong looked at Yi Mo and said, "Yi Mo, Yi Ling made mistakes, so according to ancestral rules, we must hang her up and whip her for 3 days. You are indeed strong, much stronger than I expected. No wonder the Song family didn't dare to touch you. But no matter how strong you are, you can't be stronger than Nanqing. To be honest, Nanqing wanted to ask me to deal with you, but I rejected. If Nanqing and us attacked you together, do you think you have any chances of winning? Plus, your acts are criminal. I believe there will be a hunt for you tomorrow. Yi Mo sneered. He didn't even bother with Yi Beirong. If it wasn't the Yi family people, he would have killed them long ago and finished the problem once and for all. However, if he killed all the Yi family people, first, Yi Ling wouldn't allow it. Second, he might come into conflict with Han Zixin. That didn't matter much, but the key thing was his power was still low, and he depended on Han Zixin for resources. San Kai satisfactorily walked into the Yi family mansion. When he came yesterday, the Yi family tried to position themselves higher by dumping him in the hotel, but now they still had to ask for him to come back. San Kai just saw Yi Mo, and his face immediately changed. He didn't bother with the Yi family people near him and walked in front of Yi Mo while respectfully saying, "Brother Yi, I didn't expect to see you here. He couldn't even finish a sentence. He was so scared that he couldn't say the rest of his words. He didn't think that he would meet Yi Mo while coming to negotiate a business deal with the Yi family. F*CK off. I don't want to see you here." Yi Mo was very angry now, and the Nanqing people had even come to piss him off. As such, he didn't have that much of a good attitude. Yi Beirong could no longer stay calm anymore. He looked at the Nanqing representative who ran away with one sentence, and his heart immediately dropped cold. Yi Mo's power was so strong that it made his back cold. Even Nanqing people didn't dare to breathe loudly in front of Yi Mo. Yi Beirong, however, hadn't lost all his hope yet. But contrary to his expectations, before the Flying Eagle Squad members moved, the 3 Flying Snow Squad members saw Yi Mo and came to salute him. As a response, Yi Mo only nodded towards them. Although Yi Mo was the instructor, he knew he probably didn't have the authority to tell them what to do, so he didn't bother to tell these people to go back. Yi Beirong sunk into an ice cave. Who was Yi Mo? He was good on both sides. As though seeing the atmosphere was wrong, the leading Flying Snow Squad member said, "We'll go have a look outside first." Then the 20 or so members also went out. A few moments later, only the Yi family people remained in the house. Yi Wenqi also knew things were not right. Yi Mo's identity was just too great. Bring the people who hit Yi Ling. Yi Beirong seemed to suddenly aged a lot. He didn't expect that the person abandoned by the Yi family could force the Yi family to such an extent. Yi Mo, a person who killed the Song family leader's son, but still couldn't be killed by the Song family, was actually kicked out by the Yi family. Since Song Qiming could endure, so could he, Yi Beirong. In addition, Yi Mo was named Yi. Yi Ling looked at the 2 people who whipped her whip each other under Yi Mo's order and couldn't bear to look. She looked at Yi Mo and seemed to want to say something. Yi Mo knew what she thought and waved his hand. He knew that these 2 people only hit Yi Ling under Yi Wenqi's order, but their harsh whipping made Yi Mo have killing intent. "Grandpa, where did my second brother go?" Yi Ling looked at the old-looking Yi Beirong and asked, "I sent him to England." Yi Beirong sighed. "Brother, let's go. I don't want to stay here anymore." Yi Ling was scared Yi Mo was going to kill her big uncle. No matter what, that was still her big uncle. If Yi Mo did that, what would Grandpa do? Although she suspected her father's death to be related to her big uncle, but that was just a suspicion. Chapter 153. The Yi Family State. Chapter 153. The Yi family state, of course. Yi Mo knew what Yi Ling was thinking. Yi Ling was scared he would massacre the Yi family. Yi Mo wouldn't be so stupid. Even if Yi Ling had no feelings for the Yi family, he still couldn't kill people now, much less when she did have sentiments for them. Even if he were to kill, he would have to do it in secret. That way, even if everyone were to know his actions, none of them would have the evidence. If Yi Wenqi didn't dare to slap himself, then don't blame him for playing dirty. He crushed 3 small pieces of ore and shot 1 into Yi Wenqi's body and another 2 towards the man who whipped Yi Ling. Then he carried Yi Ling and left. Looking at Yi Mo's disappearing shadow, Yi Beirong seemed to have aged 10 years. After a long time, he murmured, "Is the Yi family going to end?" Yi Wenqi didn't realize that his life was saved by Yi Mo. Now that Yi Mo left, he immediately said, "Father, don't worry. Since Yi Mo didn't kill today, then he shouldn't. Although he's strong, he's only one person. Could he compare with the entire family? Would he not be afraid of the country's judgment?" "Shut up. You think I don't know your little axe? You wanted to suppress Yi Mo. That's fine. But now you even want to touch Yi Zifeng. You didn't know anything about Yi Ling stealing the Dragon Balls? Although Yi Ling is unforgivable, but you knew what Yi Ling did, and you didn't stop her. I originally thought that after the Yi family leaves the political scene, I might as well give you the family. But now, it seemed like I was very wrong." Yi Beirong spoke so hastily that he coughed. Seeing no one from the Yi family was awake to reality, Yi Beirong sighed. Once again, the only elite of the Yi family was kicked out. One that was slightly better was also suppressed. In order to protect Yi Zifeng, he had to send Yi Zifeng to England. And now, Yi Wenqi still talked with arrogance. Yi Mo wasn't even afraid of Nanqing. Even the Song family felt fearful of Yi Mo. Why would he be scared of the Yi family? Yi Beirong said with a lack of interest, "I'm really disappointed. The Song family could find out Yi Mo's power and his identity and not dare to fight him, but our Yi family acted like a fool and didn't know anything. Yi Long, your intel job is really well done. Wenjin, the Guluo guy Yi Ling knew was introduced by you, right? Why is Yi Lu fine? Do you all think I'm old?" Yi Wenqi had a pale face but didn't argue. Seeing everyone was silent, Yi Beirong was more disappointed. After a while, he said, "Yi Wenqi, tomorrow, apply for a relocation out of Beijing. You can decide where you go. Wenjin, tomorrow, hand in a resign and go with your second brother and do business. From today onwards, no one is allowed in the Yi family mansion without my permission." Saying this, Yi Beirong pretty much removed Yi Wenqi and Yi Wenjin from the authority center of the Yi family. Although he gave Yi Ling to Yi Wenqi to deal with, Yi Wenqi didn't have any kinship in mind, and that made him greatly disappointed. "Grandpa, in that way, wouldn't our family gradually leave the 5 great families of Beijing?" Yi Huang heard that his father was leaving Beijing, and he was not satisfied. He knew that once he left Beijing, he would no longer be the Yi family young master. "Humph, the 5 great families. Once I'm dead, why should the Yi family be one of the 5 great families? Stop dreaming. Let our fame stop here. If anyone stirs up trouble, go clean up yourself. Everyone leave. Yi Long and Beiguang stay." Yi Beirong finished the words and leaned tiredly against the chair. He had a plan. It was an all-in-bet. If he failed, the Yi family would indeed leave the Beijing Authority Center. As such, he wouldn't tell his plan here. The Yi family members dejectedly left the meeting room. Although Yi Wenqi wanted to argue a little, but he knew that what his father decided on was adamant. He already had no choice but to retreat. At last, the entire room was only left with Yi Beirong, Yi Long, Yi Beiguang, and the brother Jing who never spoke. Unexpectedly, the brother Jing who never spoke smiled and spoke after everyone left. Beirong finally made up his mind to take this step, but that Yi Mo is indeed an elite such talent. Not much young people these days can compare with him. Yi Beirong smiled with great fatigue. "I knew I couldn't hide it from brother Jing, but I really have no choice. Not many of my sons are talented. They only know how to fight amongst themselves. Wenqi is only a little smart, but still can't be the leader of the family. My original plans are wrong. Although Yi Mo ravaged the Yi family, but this might not be a bad thing. You can't rise from the ashes without being burned first." The old man nodded. "Brother Beirong is right in taking this step. After Wenqi and Wenjin leave Beijing, you can bring Zifeng back and gradually hand the family over to him. Although Yi Mo is not on good terms with the Yi family, he seems to be pretty good to Yi Ling. That would mean he would be good to Zifeng. As long as Zifeng is the leader of the Yi family, Then if something were to happen, Yi Mo wouldn't stand and watch. Looking at his wide connections and his fierce means, you can just tell the Yi family will blossom. Yi Long finally understood what the leader meant. He wanted to say something but eventually couldn't. Yi Baron looked at Yi Long and said, "Originally, I gave most of the authority to Wenqi and Wenjin. Your resources were limited, so I don't blame you for not having enough intel. But from today on, I will give a lot of resources to you. If you still can't make some progress, then decide what to do yourself." "Yes, leader, don't worry, I won't disappoint you." Yi Long was full of joy after hearing this. His resources were too limited. It was incomparable to that of Song Hai from the Song family. The main reason was because most of the authority were in Yi Wenqi's and Yi Wenjin's hands. In a house in Beijing, although Yi Ling brought Yi Mo here, Yi Mo was still unfamiliar with it. He didn't have any impression of living here. The room was relatively clean, so it could be seen that although Yi Ling rarely came to live here, she frequently came to clean it up. Yi Mo went out to buy some simple meals and a few sets of clothes. Under Yi Mo's qi cultivation treatment, Yi Ling had pretty much fully recovered. Now that she had eaten something, she felt even better. "Brother, how did you know I was captured? How did you know I was in the mosque? Did you ask someone?" After Yi Ling recovered, the first thing she wanted to know was how Yi Mo knew she was captured. Yi Mo still said in a self-blaming tone, "I went to an elite social night in Beijing, and because I taught Songy a lesson, I heard people talking about the Yi family. I was worried about you, so I went to your dorm, but didn't find you there. My first reaction was that something happened to you. I went to the Yi family, and luckily you were still all right, otherwise I really wouldn't be able to forgive myself. Thank you, brother. Before, I always looked down on you, but now I know how naive I was. There are some things you can't resist, no matter how much you reject it. You and second brother are the most important people to me. Without you, I may have died. After Mom and Dad passed away, I thought no one would care about me. I don't know how many times I felt sad and helpless, but now I know I still have my brother. But Grandpa is so cold-hearted." Then Yi Ling fell into Yi Mo's arms and started crying. Yi Mo patted Yi Ling's back and blamed himself. To be honest, he never thought of Yi Ling and how she was doing. As for what she did for him, he didn't know at all. If he wasn't trying to find Yi Zifeng this time, even if she was beaten to death, he wouldn't even know. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care at all. But now he understood that there was something in this world called feelings, kinship. Yi Ling looked down on him, but still did many things for him, quietly in her own way, for no other reason but him being her brother, just for that kinship. As for Yi Mo, he came to Beijing only because someone owed him money, and also because he was going to help treat a friend's son. Even Yi Zifeng, he only thought of visiting him after getting here. Now, he understood that for someone like him who seemed no one knew and cared in this world, at least he still had a sister who cared about him. For the first time, Yi Mo felt some warmth at the bottom of his heart, making him lose himself in thought. After a while, he said in a self-blaming tone, "Sorry, Yi Ling, I never thought about you and made you suffer so much. Yi Ling suddenly said in a happy tone, "Brother, then if something good happens from now on, you need to remember me." In fact, I'm really happy to see you so strong and capable. Dad must be happier. Although I didn't achieve it, but Dad's last wishes came true. After second brother comes back, we will move out together. I won't stay in Beijing anymore. I don't like it here. Then, Yi Ling suddenly thought of something. She immediately said, "Brother, then big uncle saying that you are naturally impotent must be fake, right?" I knew it. If he didn't tell me yesterday, I would have thought it was true. They really are bad to the bone. Yi Mo touched his nose in a fit of awkwardness. He thought against it, but the results were indeed correct. He didn't want to talk about this topic with Yi Ling. Brother, why are you being shy? You're already at this age. Okay, I'll save your face and won't talk about it. I feel really energetic. It's night already, so I'll invite you to a good meal tomorrow. Yi Ling laughed. She didn't think Yi Mo would be this shy. Her dorm mates were so much more open. This time, their talk was much more intimate than last night. After this, Yi Mo and Yi Ling felt the care they had for each other. Their originally distant relationship became closer. Brother, I'm going to take a shower and sleep. I'm going to invite my dorm mates tomorrow for food. We'll go together. You can sleep in second brother's room. Yi Ling wanted to shower and sleep. Although she had recovered, she still felt tired soon. Yi Mo, on the other hand, gathered those few ores and prepared to make a storage ring that night and a protective amulet for Yi Ling. He didn't want Yi Ling to undergo such torture again. If one were to compare Intel capabilities, not many powers could exceed the Song family. Other than the government, the Song family Intel could be ranked in the top 3. If one were to compare Intel capabilities, not many powers could exceed the Song family. Other than the government, the Song family Intel could be ranked in the top 3. The Song family knew what happened at the Yi family that same night, and they held another family meeting in the middle of the night. The Song family had never had such frequent family meetings, but now, all the Song family people knew it was because of Yi Mo. Even Song Yi was carried in, but the injuries he received were much more severe than Song Xiaochen. Song Qiming looked coldly at Song Yi and said, Song Yi disregarded the Song family's rules and challenged Yi Mo on his own. Leave Beijing tomorrow and go elsewhere. Without my order, you are not to return to Beijing again. Song Qiming showed his calm and resolute decision-making that was no less than Yi Beirong's. Hearing that he was not allowed in Beijing, Song Yi's face immediately became pale and quickly said, Big uncle, I didn't know he was Yi Mo at the time. Song Qiming didn't even talk but had a very angry face. Song Yi's heart immediately sunk down. Before he could say more, he was carried out. Song Qiming then said, Song Yi said he didn't know it was Yi Mo But if he wasn't so cocky, how could such thing happen? Our Song family isn't scared of Yi Mo, and we will eventually deal with him, but not now. So if anyone makes Song Yi's mistake, then don't blame me. Song Hai, report the news you received from Sinai Peninsula last night. No one dared to talk. If they spoke now, it would anger the family leader. Even with Song Yi's direct lineage, he was sent away so easily. Who dared to disobey the rules now? In addition, even the leader's own son was killed by Yi Mo, so it could be said that no one wanted to kill Yi Mo more than Song Qiming. If he could endure it, who didn't dare to? They could only say that Song Yi was unlucky or his arrogance brought him bad luck. Song Qiming indeed felt depressed. He wanted to wait till Hu Qiu's master came back before making a move on Yi Mo, but now it seemed to be insufficient. Song Hai stood up and said, According to the news I received from Sinai Peninsula, Yi Mo went to Sinai Peninsula and killed Qian Longtu in front of Nanqing's #1 strongest man, Wu Chang. It is said that Lang Ji controls Nanqing now, and it is said that Lang Ji is working for Yi Mo. This news is not yet confirmed, but another news is that Lang Ji's position isn't stable yet and was heavily injured in a conflict. He is yet to solidify his position as #1 in Nanqing. Then Song Hai paused and continued. Although Yi Mo killed Qian Longtu, he didn't interfere with Nanqing's internal business and left Sinai Peninsula straight away. After Song Hai finished speaking, the room fell into a choking silence, and Song Qiming's face grew worse and worse. All the people here were the elite of the Song family. There was no one who didn't know about Nanqing, and Yi Mo had actually charged into the Nanqing headquarters by himself and killed Qian Longtu straight away. It was something that people wouldn't even imagine. There were more than 2,000 troops in Nanqing headquarters, but Yi Mo came and went as he pleased. How much people did the Song family have? The only advantage they had was that they were a big, powerful family of Beijing and was situated in the nation's power center. Yi Mo was not arrogant enough to take on a country now, and that's why the Song family was fine till now. No wonder the family leader said more than once not to mess with Yi Mo. Even after a few members were killed, he still didn't dare to mess with him. This was impossible before. Who didn't know the Song family's arrogance in Beijing? Even if they suffered a minor loss, the Song family would take full revenge. Now that the Song family suffered so heavily again and again, they could still manage to endure it. Although he had Song Hai's report once before, Song Qiming still couldn't help but to feel shocked. Yi Mo was no longer someone that could be dealt with by numbers. There must be someone as strong as him. Other than the hidden sex, perhaps no one could do anything to him. At the same time, Song Qiming felt lucky that he made the order not to mess with Yi Mo. Otherwise, if he pissed off Yi Mo, it would really be hard to say if the Song family would still exist. This was the reason why he was so angry at Song Yi. Although the Song family was an extremely large family, as the leader of the family, he needed to be very careful and not be impulsive. If Yi Mo could rampage in the Yi family, then so could he at the Song family. Song Qiming calmed his feelings before saying, "Song Hai, tell us about what happened at the Yi family last night." Yes, because Yi Mo's sister, Yi Ling, stole the Feng Shui Dragon Balls, she was punished. Yi Mo went to the Yi family and saved Yi Ling. At the same time, he cut off Yi Wencai's left hand. The reason was because he choked Yi Ling's neck. Moreover, the two people who whipped Yi Ling suddenly died, not long after Yi Mo left. There's another unconfirmed news, and that's Huang Yu from the Hidden Sex had his wrist broken and had one leg severed by Yi Mo. Song Hai felt fear even after saying it himself. Yi Mo could make someone suddenly die after he left. This mean was too scary. He looked at the lost Song family people and sighed before saying, "These news weren't what shocked me the most. What makes me unwilling to believe was that last night there was Nanqing people who went to the Yi family. They were told to F***CK off by Yi Mo, and they left in a hurry, not daring to say anything. It seemed that Nanqing might be really afraid of Yi Mo." Another news was that last night, the Flying Eagle squad members also went to the Yi family, but 3 Flying Snow squad members were also very respectful to Yi Mo. In other words, Yi Mo is now good on both sides. Even the Flying Special Ops forces are reverent to him. It could be seen that we really shouldn't take him head on. After reporting this, the entire meeting room fell silent. After a long time, Song Qishan said, "Yi Mo definitely isn't someone who can be conquered by numbers. My idea is that we not only shouldn't mess with him, but should instead get close to him." Song Qiming waved his hand. "No need, we can't coexist with him, and he wouldn't pay attention to us. But we can't mess with him now. Song Hai, try to get close to some hidden sect masters at all costs, at least tertiary stage of black level or even earth level." "Yes," Song Hai replied immediately. Song Hai did things cleanly and swiftly, and Song Qiming was very satisfied about this. Yi Mo spent a night's time and made a storage ring with a 3 cubic meter storage space. His power was too low now, so he could only make something that big. He carefully put the remaining space, abyssal rock, in his storage ring. That black jade was forged into 2 jade necklaces amulets by Yi Mo. The jade necklace had some attacking abilities but was mainly for defense. Because the material was expensive, Yi Mo was not stingy on his cultivation chi in making it. The 2 amulets he made had permanent effect, but each time after use, its power would weaken a little. However, after a long time of not using it, it would gradually recharge. The reason was because Yi Mo's power was too low right now. If he wasn't really interested in concocting pills and forging artifacts before, he probably wouldn't even be able to create such an effect. It was like how he made runic papers. It would take him a few days to make a SOSO runic paper. After wearing the storage ring, Yemo finally felt relieved a lot. This was so much more convenient than carrying a big bag. The only thing was that this storage space was too small. Yi Ling packed everything up and intentionally wore a pretty dress before realizing that Yi Mo still hadn't come out. It was already past 9 a.m. Just when she wanted to knock, Yi Mo opened the door and came out. He seemed very fatigued. "Brother, what's wrong?" Yi Ling was shocked. Could yesterday's battle left some internal injuries? Yi Mo smiled and said, "Nothing. I made a defense amulet for you. Wear it on you from now on, and don't take it off casually." Then he gave the amulet to Yi Ling. The chain was made with a few materials. It had a warm, serene, and comfortable feeling when held in hand. Yi Ling took over the necklace with joy and exclaimed, "Brother, this necklace is really pretty. How did you make it? Did you make it with hand?" Then, before Yi Mo replied, she wore it straight away. As soon as she did, she felt a cool sensation surge up in her heart. "Brother, I didn't know you had this skill. You can make a living with just this." Yi Mo speechlessly looked at Yi Ling. Although he couldn't starve to death from selling this, but could it be sold on a large scale? "Brother, did you not sleep the last night to make this?" Yi Ling suddenly thought of Yi Mo's fatigued expression and asked. Yi Mo subconsciously said, I'm afraid you'll be in danger again when I'm not around you, so I made this protective amulet for you. You must not take it off, do you understand?" Yi Ling's eyes went red as she reached out and hugged Yi Mo. It's so good to have a brother. Seeing Yi Ling so happy, so was Yi Mo. He immediately said, "In fact, I made two. I still have another here. Brother, who's the other one for? Is it for your girlfriend? Brother, do you have a girl, Riend? Tell me quick. I must see if she's worth my brother." Yi Ling spat out a series of words like fireworks, making Yi Mo not know which one to answer. However, he was also dazed. When he made them last night, he just made two. Who was the other one for? Luo Susu? A name suddenly jumped out of Yi Mo's brain, making him lost in thought. Rate translation, quality 6 comments, join in Google tag. Command push function. Google tag. Display. Chapter ad 154. After Zhua Aigua had been on the phone with Yi Mo, his family hurried to Beijing the next day. Yi Mo kept his promise and came to Beijing, so there was no way he would let this chance slip. He even regret leaving the country at the wrong time, but on the second night, he and his family still timely arrived at Beijing on time. After Zhua Aigua had been on the phone with Yi Mo, his family hurried to Beijing the next day. Yi Mo kept his promise and came to Beijing, so there was no way he would let this chance slip. He even regret leaving the country at the wrong time, but on the second night, he and his family still timely arrived at Beijing on time. Just when they left the airport, Zhua Aigua called Yi Mo, but what made him worried was that Yi Mo's phone was shut. Due to Zhua Huatang's condition, both he and his wife felt sorry for their son, so they took him to America to relax. Originally, when Zhua Aigua saw Yi Mo told him he would come to Beijing within a year and help him treat his son, but it had only been a few months, and there was no news from Yi Mo at all. Although Zhua Aigua trusted Yi Mo to a great deal, his wife didn't believe so. It was because Zhua Aigua gave something away, which was used to treat his son. And because of this, she had many fights with Zhua Aigua. They were fighting to the stage of divorce, and going abroad this time was also to ease up the tension in their relationship. They didn't expect to arrive in America for just a few days, and Yi Mo would call them. Of course, Zhua Aigua and his wife returned without hesitation. "Didn't you say that doctor will be waiting for us? Why is his phone off now?" Being unable to reach Yi Mo, once they came back to Beijing, Zhua Aigua's wife couldn't help but to feel more uncomfortable. Shuaiwa sighed. He could understand his wife's feeling, but Yi Mo was someone magical. How could that person go back on his words? He didn't bother explaining this to his wife, though. Some things, the more one explained, the more complicated it became. Their originally excited mood became dejected after the family was unable to reach Yi Mo. Kai Ching, Shuaiwa's wife, reproached Shuaiwa a few sentences, and no longer had the mood to argue with him. The family went back to their home silently. When they opened the door, they saw Zhu Yangqing sitting in the living room in a very distressed manner. "What are you doing, Yangqing?" Shuaiwa curiously asked Zhu Yangqing. She seemed to be acting erratic today. Normally, whenever Shuaiwa returned from a trip, especially overseas, the first thing she would ask was what he brought back for her. She wouldn't be acting like she was today. Zhu Yangqing said, "I originally found that doctor who treated Grandpa's disease, but I was interrupted by a bastard." "You found that doctor? Where was he?" Kai Ching immediately exclaimed with joy. In her eyes, that doctor who treated her big uncle was much more better than the one Shuaiwa met at Flowing Snake. "I don't know where he is now, either. If it wasn't for Qin Sun, that bastard, perhaps I would have brought him back. If I'm to see him again, I wouldn't let him go even if he went to the toilet," Zhu Yangqing dejectedly said. "Yangqing, you're a girl. Don't be so rude." Although Shuaiwa believed that the doctor who treated his big uncle must be very skilled, but he still had great faith in Yi Mo. Seeing that Kai Ching was disappointed, she quickly said, "Third aunt, don't worry. I know who his sister is. I can definitely find him." "Who?" This time, Shuaiwa and his wife asked at the same time. "It's Yi Ling from my school. That doctor is called Yi Mo. You must know him. He was the one kicked out by the Yi family. At first, I couldn't believe it too, but after talking with him for 10 minutes, I knew it was him," Zhu Yangqing said without noticing Shuaiwa's expression. "What?" Zhu Yangqing saw her third uncle's mouth wide open in shock. Shuaiwa patted his head and said, "It seems that they are probably the same person. The doctor I was looking for is also Yi Mo. I don't think there can be two Yi Mo appearing at the same place and both be skilled medically." Yi Mo also had a shower and changed into casual clothes that Yi Ling bought for him. After wearing so, he seemed much better looking. Yi Ling circled Yi Mo around a few times and complimented, "Brother, I didn't think you would look so handsome after changing you into a famous brand. If the girls in my dorm saw you, they would probably devour you to the bones. That Ning Qingshu, I really don't what's good for her. How dare she kick away my brother, who is so handsome?" Hearing Yi Ling talk about Ning Qingshu, Yi Mo suddenly thought of that day after following Black Snake. He didn't even go see Qi, Wan Qing, and Ning Qingshu. He probably should have done, so now that he thought about it. But just thinking that Ning Qingshu might have caught some feelings for him, Yi Mo felt a fit of helplessness. Ning Qingshu was indeed an excellent girl. Other than the initial princess syndrome, she changed a lot after living with him for nearly a month. From using her body to protect the silver heart grass, preparing the suicidal recording and following him to Flowing Snake and the desert, perhaps she only thought it was out of guilt, but Yi Mo knew that it was far more than guilt. Although Yi Mo knew that she really need not be guilty, but he couldn't explain this to her. At least, she was an emotional person. Although she didn't see the holistic view sometimes, she was kind-hearted. Once she was set on something, she was very stubborn. Thinking about this, Yi Mo felt he had overdone it. Although he didn't dare to stay together with Ning Qingshu in the desert, she still came all that far to the desert just to see him. Meanwhile, he just left. Did this mean he didn't dare to face her? It was impossible to say that he wasn't a little bit interested in Ning Qingshu at all, but why didn't he dare to accept her? Yi Mo asked himself, but immediately, and he suddenly thought of Luo Wing. But why did he have some faint feelings for Luo Susu? Was it just because she was named Luo and gave him a feeling of Luoing? Yi Mo shook his head. He understood that his feelings for Luo Susu was completely because of that accidental touch, or because they had each other's blood in their bodies, or perhaps they were the same type of people. Brother, what's wrong? Yi Ling felt Yi Mo was lost in thought and asked. Yi Mo shook his head and said, Ning Qingshu is actually a good girl. Don't talk about her like that. She doesn't owe me anything. And Yi Mo didn't continue. Yi Ling looked at Yi Mo in shock and said, Brother, are you really in love with her? In fact, I feel she's a match for you. But she didn't say. Ning Qingxue looked down on him. Seeing that Yi Mo had some things in his heart, Yi Ling quickly pulled Yi Mo's hand and said, Brother, if you like her, then chase her. She's not someone that's significant. We'll go eat first. I already invited the people from my dorm, so they should be out. Let's go. Without letting Yi Mo argue, she dragged him out. But before choosing a place to eat, Tian He and the others saw that Yi Mo seemed different from yesterday. The main reason was he was packaged by Yi Ling. Yi Mo was helpless with the girl's audacity, and eventually Yi Ling could only helpless step in to stop them. After lunch, Yi Mo really couldn't handle their enthusiasm, and told Yi Ling he had some business with his friends and told her to quickly deal with the things here and leave with him for Luo Tsang. After Yi Mo had been gone for a long time, Yi Ling and the others went back to their dorm. At this time, Tian He was still asking Yi Ling, Ling Zi, you sure he's your brother? Yi Mo, your biological brother? Dan and Lulu all had boyfriends, so they could only watch Tian He being curious in jealousy. Yi Ling said in a not-so-satisfied tone, Change your temperament first. My brother likes women like Ning Qingxue. I don't think you have much of a chance. Ning Qingxue? Sigh. The opponent is too strong. Tian He gave off a long sigh and hugged her blanket into sleep. After Yi Mo left those people, he bought a set of silver needles but didn't call Zhuo Aigua. He knew that Zhuo Aigua must have came back yesterday, so he planned to just go straight to his house. What Yi Mo didn't expect was that it was Zhuo Yangqing who opened the door. But soon he realized that both of them had the same surname, and in addition, didn't he meet her last yesterday as well? When Zhuo Yangqing saw it was Yi Mo standing at the door, it was only 0.01 seconds before she grabbed Yi Mo's arm and said, You must not leave this time. A ball of softness stuck to Yi Mo's arm. Yi Mo coughed. Hey, let go. You're letting me take advantage of you. Zhuo Yangqing's face only slightly blushed as she immediately said, You said you would wait for the day before yesterday. But why did you leave? If I let go, what if you leave again? Yi Mo helplessly said, I came especially for Zhuo Aigua. How could I leave? At this moment, Zhuo Aigua had come out and saw Yi Mo standing at the door. He immediately came up with a face full of joy and surprise. Brother Yi, you really came. Quick, come in. Yangqing, why are you still holding his arm? Quickly go make Uncle Yi Mo some tea. What? Uncle Yi Mo? Zhuo Yangqing understood that Yi Mo indeed came for her third uncle, but what made her depressed was that Yi Mo was only 2 or 3 years older than her. How did he become her uncle? Rate translation quality 1 comments join in Google tag. Command push function Google tag display chapter add 155. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.